Hello, hello, everyone that's live hanging out. We're about to start a coaching session. If anybody has a question, I've got 5 minutes before we hop in. Anybody want to ask a question or anything like that live? Anybody have a question? Gary T on IG DMs. What's up? Sure. We can talk about offers. You can DM me and ask me, like, what you could do is you could DM me your offer right now, and maybe I can give you some feedback on that. Like, who do you serve? What is the transformation change that you're helping them make? And then, what exactly is your offer? And then I kind of give you some feedback if you want to DM me. I can do that for you, DM Gary. Gary, these are for our coaching members. So here in about 30 seconds or so, people are going to start hopping in side of Zoom, and then I'm going to start coaching these other guys. Probably got like 10 people. So I can go live with those guys. I just wanted to give you guys a quick 5 minutes to see if I can add some value. But if you want, why don't you just shoot me a DM, or if you want to hang out, you can hang out and kind of watch our training. And just kind of see what I'm doing with the other guys. We do offers and all that stuff. We do have some people that work with realtors. They're about 30,000 per month. So if that's a niche that you're interested in, you can certainly shoot me a DM. And then maybe I can kind of help you out and show you what we're doing with those other guys. Yeah, cool, man. All right. Well, if you hang out, cool, man. Enjoy the training. If not, man, like just shoot me a DM and I'll get back to you when I can. Cheers, bro. Camilo.
What's up, good Sheikh? How's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, man.
What's going on?
Chilling. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
What's
Can't
going on
complain.
in terms of your day? I know things are hectic with you and the kid and the wife.
Yeah, same old, same old. Just drop her off daycare and then pick her up at 2 and then just going through all the training on the program and doing as much as I can.
Good, good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you like in a time crunch or anything, Camille, today?
No, not really.
Okay, cool. So I think what we'll do is I do want to ask MJ because MJ might be on a time crunch. Kind of see what his schedule is. And usually most of the guys are pretty chill. There's no real time crunch. And if there's
Gotcha.
time crunch, then I'll wait for it to pack up. Maybe there's 7 people in here today, 5, 7 people, and then from there we do introductions with you. Michael's here
That's
as well.
fine.
So just kind of play it by ear.
No worries, no worries, no rush on my end.
MJ, how's it going, man?
Doing okay. How are you doing? Feeling better?
Um, so I think something is going around because everybody seems to be getting sick.
Oh no.
Notice that?
Hmm.
I think mine passed like a few months ago. The cycle had ended, a few months back for us here.
Maybe,
So,
maybe.
yeah.
My throat was feeling like crap. Not this past Wednesday, the Wednesday before. And
Mhm.
so usually, I mean, a sore throat is going to last like 3 to 7 days max.
Mm,
So literally, I was recording material for the course yesterday,
yeah.
and 2, 3 minutes in, and I just couldn't talk. So it's finally starting to get better today. So it's
Yeah.
something weird. I think Ethan said he's sick, and then Mason said he's sick. So it seems like something is going around, at least
Oh,
here
wow.
here in the States. But I'm feeling a
Yeah.
little. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just getting myself ready for later today. So
Uh, are you on a time crunch? I know the 9 to 5 is wrapping up. What's kind
yeah.
of thing like for you? We have 2 new members, and so I was wondering if I should answer your question first and then do introductions, or do introductions and then answer your question.
Yeah, I think I could go first because I think they're closing up here and then I'll just, wrap up here and then get to the sales call after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what time is it for you right now? Is it 6 Eastern or
It
5?
is Eastern. What's Eastern now? It's 4 p.m. My time. Sorry, the math is not mathing in my head, but yeah.
When's your sales call?
It is going to be at, I think I have her for 8:30. So from here, once I get home, I'll probably just do like a few errands and just like get everything set and ready to go, and then yeah, go from there.
Okay. Is it the chiropractor?
Yes, that's right.
Exciting.
That's right.
Is it your first sales call?
Yes, gonna be my first one. Then there's one tomorrow. There's none on Wednesday, but there's one on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think. And then
Good.
so
Good. Okay, cool. Um,
yeah.
Guys, I hope everybody else is doing well as you guys are hopping in. Jorge, Daniel, Kyle, Michael, hope everybody's doing well.
Hey,
Yeah,
Coach Jake, yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
good, man. I'm chilling, feeling a little bit better today. I'm not on my bed looking like a corpse. Um,
Glad to hear it. Glad to see it.
but I think Mason's kind of feeling like a corpse today, though. I think he's caught something. Um, But guys, so typical fashion, guys, we want to do introductions at the very beginning. We've got 2 new members. We've got Camilo and we've got Michael. However, MJ is a little bit on a time crunch. He's in a place. They're about to shut down. And so I want to go and answer his question first. And then what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll kind of do welcomes, introductions, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the questions. Um, so let's see here. So I think I sent you quite a bit of information, MJ, already.
Mhm.
Have you had a chance to read through some of this stuff? Yes, no?
Yes, I had a chance to read through some of them. Yes, just trying to recap my brain too on it because it was a lot earlier in the day. So, um, yeah, I guess ultimately one of the questions that came to my mind was so I'll talk about the guarantee stuff, but it was more about the onboarding piece. So are you saying that so to onboard them, I should use Slack and create a channel and do all of that stuff, right? Okay. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that. Is there any fancy process to be, to go through with what channels to create, or it's just like a basic Slack account, maybe just one channel for I don't know, new onboarded people, or how would you, schedule put out the channels together?
Yeah. So I would say there's certainly uh method behind the madness in terms of what I'm doing. And
Mm.
in terms of like when people niche down, I certainly like advise them like, hey, here are the channels you want to have in place. Here's how to leverage them. But for you guys, what I would say for the phase that you're in right now, I wouldn't stress about this too much. Really, I just want you to, you know, kind of just go through the process, do one round and, just learn from it. You're going to fall down a few times, be like, oh, I should have done this thing. I should have done that thing. Here's what I'll do next time. Here's why I see that this is important. So there's not necessarily anything that you need to have in place. And I would advise actually to not have it in place until you've niched down. For the time being, I would recommend actually just kind of leaving it pretty blank, a blank canvas.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the part with the guarantee that you mentioned, I guess how could I don't even know if I want to do one, but like if I was going to, I know I remember how you kind of like gave your guarantee, but for like the chiropractor situation, would I be saying something like, if you follow like our outline directions, yada yada yada, we would guarantee you blah blah blah, or else, like I don't know, work for free until we do, or like, how best could I say that, I guess.
Yeah. So right now, the truth is that you don't know
Yeah.
what you can even afford to make. And the
Yeah.
reason you don't know why is that pop quiz. Why don't you know?
Because I haven't done any service delivery
And
yet.
if you go level deeper, what information would you need from the service delivery to be able to make a guarantee like that?
Um, the amount of, leads that we're able to get in through through the ads and uh I guess the funnel ultimately.
More specifically, what you would need to know is you would need to know cost per and conversion rates at each stage. So, for example, the reason I can make a guarantee is because I know that it costs anywhere from $2.50 to $20 for a lead
Yeah.
because I've done this 1,500 times. And I know the conversion rate at each stage from the ad to the discovery call to the sales call. And so I know what kind of an offer to make that actually works. And so for you, that is fundamentally why you can't do it, right? Like realistically. And so what does that mean? That means that you're kind of just practicing. You're kind of putting on a show and dance and just to practice and see what the emotional response is. So right now, what you have to do is you have to guesstimate. You have to guesstimate to the best of your abilities. So that's the reality. So the first thing is just like getting just the first thing is like just acknowledging where you're at and acknowledging that that is the truth. And so if you've been thinking in your mind, like, how do I do this? There's got to be a workaround. You're not crazy. It's just impossible to do because of the situation that you're at. So what we can do is if you wanted to make a guarantee, we could come up with something that is plausible. And so for me, from what I'm hearing, I think what you said is that she's at 10K and she wants to get to 20K. So what you can
Yeah.
do is you can say something along the lines of, hey, you're currently at 10K. So in order to get to 20K, first of all, you have to reverse engineer what those numbers need to be. So I think that cost per acquisition. So if it's a $50 offer, it's probably going to cost $100 to get somebody in through the door through ad spend. So you would have to work those numbers out. $100 to get one new customer in through that offer, and then I would say 10% of those people are going to convert into the high ticket offer. So I don't know what those numbers are. You'd have to calculate those, and
Yeah, like 5,000 is what I like. That's 3,000 monthly for because I guess she would need 30 clients to come in through the door. Right now she's like hovering at 280. So to get to 20, she needs 30 extra monthly.
okay,
So that would be 3,000 on ad spend, and then maybe 2,000 my fee. That's like 5,000 a month.
okay,
Is what that would look like for her when I did the numbers.
okay,
But
good,
yeah, yeah.
good. And so that's total. Is that what you said in terms of total? So
Total monthly, right? Yeah,
monthly. So that's so
monthly.
if you spend $5,000 next month, if she pays 5,000 next month, then basically she's gonna go from 10 to 20 by month two. Is that what you're saying?
Uh, I think so. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So if that's the case, then what you can do is this. because the key is to make these kinds of offers like sexy and but also probable. Sexy, but also probable. So if I'm you, and again, it's not about getting the highest number, but you can kind of like position her, say, hey, look, based off of my numbers, here's what it would cost in order to get you from 10,000 to 20,000. And so my guarantee to you is that we're going to get you to 20,000, but it's not going to happen on month one. It's going to happen by the end of month 3. Something like that. And then when you get to the actual numbers, you can kind of position that to her and say, hey, the cost will be this. And this is, and when you get to the very bottom of it, you can go into, even before that, you can go into, here's your cost per lead, cost per acquisition, here's how the numbers work. So I'm not sure if I'm making sense or if I've lost you.
Yeah, you're making sense. You're making sense. I wasn't like, I know I was taking like the 100 in terms of that average for what the cost per lead might be. And in my mind, I'm calculating that's a lot. So should I end up just choosing maybe 50? Because then if I work it out from 50, it feels more, swallowable for her in terms of what that monthly might look like. And maybe I could, get the sell on that. But
I
that's what
think
my thoughts were.
I think what is very realistic for her, I don't think if she's bringing in 10,000 right now, right? If that's what you're telling me, and then 10,000 is revenue, is that profit or revenue?
I didn't confirm if it was profit or revenue yet.
It's most likely revenue, and most
Yeah.
likely the profit is probably around maybe 7,000, 6,500, 7,000. That's what I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
So if you just try to step into her shoes and you try to ask her for 5 grand out of the 6 grand that she's making right now, it's going to be a very hard sell.
Yeah.
And so what I will tell you based off of my experience when it comes to Kairos, I think charging about 1,500 is pretty average. 1,500 per month.
For the ad spend or like everything together.
Everything together is about 1,500 to 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I'm you, what I would do is I would position something that's maybe $1,500. I would maybe position it as $2,000 a month or a one-time payment of $5,000. And with that $5,000, basically that would be enough to get her to that 20,000 by the end of month 3, or at least very close. That's what I would position. So just and I think I may have mentioned this, but or maybe it was Kyle that I had mentioned this too, but you have to kind of base your offer off of who you're having a conversation with. What is their revenue? What is their profit? How much do they have saved? Do they have finances? All that stuff. Is this going to be a hard pill to swallow? Kind of like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And based off of all the context you've given me, I think that's a pretty good offer.
Yeah, I think so. So thank you, because I think I'd have probably flopped if I didn't have this conversation right now. I don't know, not really, but I I was kind of going in on I think 3,000 a month or 3,500 or something like that. That was kind of like but in my mind I kind of kept on thinking I think I should be a little bit lower, but I wasn't quite sure how to think or position that. So I think you saying that just kind of like makes sense to me in a way. So yeah.
And here's the important thing to understand. Again, this is not important right now, but down the road, once you've done 10 clients, once you understand fully how to get some results, well, then yeah, you can lead with a $15,000 offer because you'll have that level of conviction, you'll have the case studies, you'll have the proof, and then you'll be able to get her to finance the decision. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to work towards over the coming months once you've niched down. Right now, like the mindset you have of like, hey, let me do something where I'm not going to scare her away. That's the right mindset to have because that's all we're trying to accomplish with this phase. I just want you to get that simple yes. And I want you to get the yes, and I want you to make it painful enough. And I think this is fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So are you also saying that even at that price at the end of month 3, that at that ad spend, as well as that, service cost, you could potentially like scale
Yeah.
1 to 20K at that amount? Okay.
Yeah. Like for example, this is so profound is like the average gym owner, they make about $1,000 profit. Okay, the average gym. And Alex Hormozi of Gym Launch, what was he charging? He was charging like 30,000. So how can you justify charging 30,000 or 2.5 years of profits? How do you justify that? How? One, he was actually really good at getting people amazing results. And then 2, because of his sales process was so dialed in that he could do that. That's why. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
that does.
down the road, once you've niched down, what we are going to do is we're going to create an amazing strategy for whatever niche you go into, where we can make them a bunch of money, and we're going to really refine your sales process so that you can charge that premium.
Right.
Yeah, you want to get to a place where I would say, like I tell most people, like 90% of your clients should finance their decision with you. That's the reality down the road. But
Okay.
yeah, in terms of like how you're feeling right now and the logic that we're using of like using something that's realistic and that's not going to scare away too much, that we're in the right place, 100%.
Okay, that's good. That's good. The next question I have, I don't know. Yeah, I think I will move into the second sales call I'm supposed to have tomorrow, which is for a personal trainer. I think I had messaged this on our group, and I didn't have like a lot of information when I messaged it earlier. So they are a personal trainer, and their specialty is in offering, training services to people that are more advanced in their age, like 40 plus. So essentially like functional training. So I don't know if there is any already proven demo, or because I know I'm gonna like create my presentation anyways, but I was just wondering, is there anything I could model or something that works to be able to speak with this person? So far, they seem like the warmest that I've had of all the sales calls so far, they're definitely open to knowing more about it. They understand the importance of like the mentorship they paid for one before, even though it was a while ago, and they're just getting to implement some of the things with funnels and running their own ads. And I was just looking at some of their stuff, and they're trying to make it work. And they mentioned that, no leads have come in from the ads that they've made. And the truth is, the headline of the copy looks something similar to what we did. Like, I am looking for, it starts off like that. Like, I'm looking for so on and so people that are looking to, do XYZ, right? So I just don't know what demos are available to be able to, put into my presentation to show to her.
So in terms of your conversation with her, first of all, did you feel like she was pretty dead set on only 40 plus people, or is she like, if you could get her to make money, she would be open to like other demographics as well?
I would say so, because I know somewhere along that conversation, when I was trying to find out whether or not, like, okay, so, you're doing, being a personal trainer and just helping, people do XYZ. She mentioned something along the lines, like, honestly, like, what I do is for everyone. Like, that's her target, like, in terms of like what her market is, 40 to whatever is one she wants to position. But she said things along the lines of like, I help. This is what I do for people in general, right? Like anybody would be fine, I think, but I can definitely find that out.
Last two questions. How much revenue is she currently doing? And then how long has she been in business?
She barely like I think she just like rented out a place or whatnot. So she kind of like just started, she mentioned, in the month of February or so. So very super early. And her clients right now are people that have known her from something that she did, a while ago before now. So when I asked her in terms of how much she was generating, I think she had just like mentioned like 1,000 because of like her previous clients, right? But one thing I didn't do was find out like the cost of what products or services that she offered, which I probably should do as of the time of our sales call too, so I know what to position. Where she wants to get to like at least 8,000 a month to start with.
Okay. So good news for you is Mason's niche is personal trainers. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Yeah, I saw that in the last call.
Yeah, so his niche is personal trainers. He helped Adam and Tony out. Those guys are crushing it with their gym. He's got some of his clients are doing 15,000 a month, some of his personal trainers. So he's the GOAT. Like Mason has you covered in terms of like actually getting our results. So what I really like about this particular case is the fact that she's already bought into ads. So you don't have to sell her on ads, you don't have to sell her on marketing. She's already fully bought in. And that makes sense in terms of why she's so hot. So if I'm you, Mason is a little bit sick, so hopefully he does respond. But all he's doing is for top of funnel, he's basically doing follower ads on Instagram. So he's just running ads and giving value and then saying, hey, give me a follow if you want to learn this, or if you want to lose weight, or if you want to feel better with your joint, or spend more time with your kid, whatever it is, right? Whatever her ideal avatar would want. And then what they do is they DM every single person. Okay. The other thing that happens is from when they follow, and sometimes their job is to DM every single person, but sometimes what happens is they follow and then they'll click the link in bio, which is a YouTube video. And that YouTube video tells them to DM as well. So top of funnel, they're running ads to give people a follow. Those people that follow, they're going to DM all those people. But then also some people are going to follow. They're going to click the link in the personal trainer's bio. They're going to watch the YouTube video, which tells them to DM. So that's what happens at the top of funnel. And then in the middle of the funnel, what they're doing is they're retargeting people and saying, hey, are you so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. If so, DM me this keyword. And so they're bringing people right to their conversation, get a conversation, then from there, discovery call, sales call. Very simple process.
Awesome.
That's what the strategy is overall. And I believe it's insane. It's like a 10x return on ad spend. So, you charge $10, you spend $100 on ads, that should bring in about $1,000 on average. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I will definitely give him a shot for sure.
And what you can message is you can say, hey, I've got this personal trainer, Mason, can you send me something really quick? Or you have a Loom video? Do you have a video that shows me the strategy? And then what you can also say is, Koshi said, suggested I reach out to you. Also, I know that you're feeling sick. If you can just give me maybe a link, the Facebook page of some of your clients, then you can study what they're doing. MJ, you can literally study and say, and then you can present that on your sales call. Say, hey, this is Lauren. Here's what Lauren is doing. We would do the exact same thing for you. So you literally have like a real life live ad and study that you can actually literally walk her through. So that's what I would do if I were you.
For sure. For sure. I guess my sort of last question, I could ask the other ones later. My sort of last question would be, would the clients also be paying for Go High Level when when we collect the payments and whatnot? Are we also including Go High Level in that, or would that be a separate charge after, or we just swallow that and just bring them under? How does that work?
That's a good question. So there's different ways. So there's different ways to do this, right? There's different ways where like you run the Go High Level, they run the Go High Level, you use their ad account, you use your ad account. There's different ways to mix and match. It really depends. And again, it's not a conversation that you and I need to worry about until you've niched down. For the time being, for the time being, like, so let me ask you this question. What would be the benefit of you running, you getting them to use Go High Level? And what would be the con of that? Pro and con. What would be the pro and con?
I think the pro would be the affiliate that you get from that. But the con would be, say, an extra cost to them maybe because they have to, pay for that as well.
What would the con, not to them? What would the pro you
Okay.
what would the con be
Okay,
to?
the con be to me. All right, right. I think it's the fact that maybe I may like have to be managing like their account, like being able to sign into their stuff and handle their stuff versus doing it from mine. Well, that doesn't work that way. Okay.
No, you're right, but that's not the major con. What else could be a con?
I'm not sure.
So whether you run the ads from your ad account or their ad account, or whether you use the funnel, your own funnel or their funnel, it's a large part of it is just leverage. And so what I mean by that is, let's say she has her own experience running ads, right? So what she could do is she could go into the ads that you run for. Let's say you launch the ads. She could go in and see what kind of ads is MJ running. And then she already has access to the funnel, right? She has access to opt-in page, all that stuff because it's within her system. You can't get that back. So all she has to do is fire you and then run the exact same ads. And then it goes into her funnel and you're gone.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
That's usually the issue.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not so it depends on the business model. Like, for example, why do I do that with you guys? Right? The reason I do that is because I have other things that are more important. For example, like these Zoom calls, right? So I can afford to do those kinds of things. So it depends on the business model. That's why, again, it's not until you niche down.
Yeah.
Good question.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Well,
I think that's everything I have for now.
sure, there's time, man. If you want to ask more questions, I'm
Um,
like, please.
Sure. Let me just see if there's anything that I am missing.
Sure.
Okay, so I think the only other two things that I wrote down on my personal channel were two other leads or sales call.
Mhm.
Well, one being a painter, but I think there are many videos on YouTube I could watch for that as well. But the second being real estate agent, and what funnels that could also work for them too as well. But I forget their own story, but I don't have it in front of me as to what they're doing and how much they're making and stuff. But yeah, I think that's it for the most part.
Okay, so both so when it comes to painters, I know it's something Mason dabbled in. I think I may have mentioned that to you. He dabbled
Yeah.
in that. I think he got okay results. I don't think he got the best results for that niche. So if I'm you, I feel like most likely lead forms are probably going to be the way to go. Basically, what you found for the chiropractor. I feel like that's going to be the go-to. I think Mason tried to go into a funnel and he got okay results. In terms of like what that offer is and all that, I'm not entirely sure what that would be. But my gut is telling me it's going to be a lead form is going to be your go-to. When it comes to the realtors, did I tell you about Lisa and Ralph?
Yes, well, I saw their video. Yeah.
So those guys are doing realtors. That's their niche. And so those guys are going to be your go-to if you close this one and want to pursue that. But from the top, I don't know, remember exactly what it is, but I believe what they were doing is they're running ads to people and saying, hey, are you looking to buy a house? If you are looking to buy a house, are you looking to buy a house within this area? So the metropolitan area. If you're, or what it specifically said is, here are the best value houses within the metropolitan area. And so if you are somebody that wants to buy a house, you're going to go and you're going to click on that. You're going to opt in. You're going to get that thing. And that's all it was. And so that was becoming a lead. And then the realtor was basically following up those people. That's all. It was a very simple strategy. That's
Right.
all.
Right.
And then there's like, that's for what they do for top of funnel. And then for the middle of the funnel, there's like a video sales letter. So it's an ad. And then there's like a video to watch, 15, 20-minute video. And then they like book a call or something. That's for the middle of the funnel.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I was off the top of my head. So something like that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's
What else
that's
you got?
everything for me.
That's it?
That's it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once, going twice.
Yeah, I'm pretty low maintenance, I guess, for right now.
Yeah. How are you feeling? You got like back-to-back sales call. You like 7 sales calls. How are you hanging in there?
Yeah.
How are you feeling excited? How are you doing?
Yeah, I had the, gut thing where I felt like I needed to go throw up a few times. But,
Why is that?
but
Why is that?
yeah, it's just the fear of not, and it's not that I haven't done like sales calls before, right? But it's the fact that you have to believe what you're saying or what you haven't done, right? And it's new and it's different. So me getting to the place of like fully understanding, I haven't done anything yet, just getting myself to the place of fully understanding and believing in what I'm actually saying, has been tough. And of course, like the process is different as well in terms of all the things I have to preset and ammunition and all of this stuff, right, that are important. So it's been a bit just getting myself to get on it, but I've been practicing as often as I could. I think I'm feeling better. It might obviously not be the best. I might not do so great, but hopefully by round two, round three, I should hopefully do better. But yeah.
Have the discovery calls kind of been getting better and better? How are you feeling about the discovery calls?
Getting less anxious for them. Yeah, getting less anxious for them. So the first few were just like very, very heart pounding. Like I could feel every time I listen back to my recordings, I could feel like my heart in my chest as I'm hearing it, right? But the more and more I've done them, a little less so. I think this week has been good and bad in terms of like kind of slow in terms I will get like 3 opt-ins, for example, and it all not finish anything. I'll try and follow up. They'll probably like, block me or stop, the messages coming through. So initially I'll be like, shit, I'm not ready for them yet because I'm still trying to prep for my sales calls. So I have like that heart attack of like, yeah, I'm happy that it's working, but can I just get a little bit more time to just get ready? And then when something goes wrong, I'm happy that it went wrong because I don't have to deal with it and I can just move on, right? So it's a weird place to be right now. It's like it's give and take.
Everything that you're saying would sound very weird to anybody that's not on this call, right? But
I know, right?
I can see Kyle cracking up because Kyle's going through the same thing as you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can
Yeah.
relate to everything you're saying, MJ. Yeah, for sure.
But that,
Yeah.
like where you're on the journey, like it is normal. It's like you're in quicksand, your body should be going down. You should feel like you're suffocating. It's normal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
the good thing though is just, is it's a beautiful thing that you've got like literally it sounds like it's almost like 7 days of back-to-back sales calls. So it's like you're gonna close one out of those for sure, maybe in multiple of those. It's just a matter of time. And the other thing to understand is like the way you feel about the discovery call, how it's gotten easier and easier. The same thing applies to a sales call. You're gonna feel like your heart's up here for the first one, and then it gets better and better. I promise you.
Yeah.
I created this thing here. I think this applies to you. I was creating this for somebody else. And it's this really weird thing that people think like things start with the mind first. Like you have to basically believe it first, and then you will have conviction. And the opposite is true, is like first you have to take an action, and then what will happen is you have an outcome. So the reason, and then what happens after that is your belief about your current ability changes. And then you become more aggressive in your actions, and then you become more aggressive in your outcomes. So for you, the first action you took was reaching out to those people, doing the discovery calls, and then you had these outcomes like, oh wow, they're actually hopping on these sales calls. I'm actually, not getting blocked, and like it's okay. And so then you change your belief of like, okay, I think I can actually do this. It actually makes sense. Da, 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 da. And now you're becoming more aggressive maybe in your discovery calls, and you're smiling, you're cracking up, and maybe
Yeah.
this is what you're going through. This is normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's human nature. So
Yeah.
this applies to sales calls. So this is normal, man. It's fine. You're good.
Yeah.
You're alive. It's a good problem to have, the one that you have right now. So just keep
I
going.
know, right? I know. Thank you.
The worst life
Appreciate it.
will ever get for you. So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
MJ, anything else that you've got for us?
I think that would be everything for now. I'm hoping to come back and re-listen to this before the sales call again.
Yeah.
Once this is wrapped, the video already wraps up, I don't know, but I should be able to listen to this again and just grab those last few nuggets that you dropped in here, and then I'll be good to go. So yeah.
Perfect. Please message us again inside Slack, and then when Mason get back to you, he'll get back to you. I'll try to nudge him along as well.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, guys. I am going to just wrap up for the day now. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Michael, Camilo, new members. Are Camilo, I know that you're kind of chilling. Michael, are you in a rush? I think introductions take about 30 minutes per person. Are you in a rush, Michael? If you are, we can have you go first, and then Camilo, or vice versa, depending on how you guys are doing in terms of time.
I'm happy to go first, but I'm not in a rush yet. My next week is my onboarding for my 9 to 5, so
Okay,
I've
cool.
got all the time.
Okay, perfect. In that case, then we're chilling, guys. So yeah, I mean, Michael, if you said you're happy to go first, then we can kind of go and do that, guys. Everybody, please let's give Michael our full attention, and then it's going to be Camille after that. And so typically in typical fashion, guys, we want to listen to what they're saying, and then we want to give Michael an opportunity to ask a question. We want to give Camila an opportunity to ask a question, and then I will be calling upon one of you guys, Daniel, Kyle, Jorge, somebody to kind of answer that question, so we can give them value, just like you guys were giving value when you guys first hopped in. So let's go and hand the mic over to you, Michael. What brings you here? I'm sorry, a little bit about who you are, what brings you here, what are maybe 3 things that you're trying to accomplish, and then 1 question that you wanted to ask and get perspective from the other members in the group.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kaushik. So Michael Carrington is my name, originally from Miami, Florida, born and raised, grew up there. Spent about almost 7 years in Orlando, Florida for college and all that great fun stuff. Worked on cruise ships, sales jobs. First sales job was with Hilton in 2010. I was piss poor at it, on phones doing outbound sales to pretty cold. I mean, they are ice cold. They're Hilton Honors members. Anytime you jump into a Hilton for the first time, you get like schmozeled into getting in, becoming a Hilton Honors member, just to get, I don't know, a certain percent off. Obviously, everyone on this call probably knows the spiel right now. Before the days of funnels, when you signed up to Hilton Honors, you become, into their funnel. So after your Hilton stay, you'd expect a call from someone like me. So technically it's a cold call, although you have, indicated interest, from staying at a Hilton before, being a Hilton Honors member. So I was piss poor at it, but it was a really great opportunity of jumping, into the sales environment. But I started to learn, and I had to learn, obviously. And one sales job led to another, and then I started to get better. So eventually in 2012, I did some sales on cruise ships, and had a contract in Sydney, Australia, which was my first exposure to Australia. So I live in Australia now. In 2014, I was recruited out for a 9-to-5 job. And I've always wanted to have kind of global exposure. The world was, in some cases similar, but also in other cases a lot different then than it is now. There was this, there was certainly a desire to live internationally, but since COVID, it really has reframed my perspective, and I've been fighting hard to get back to my motherland in North America, in the US. There's nothing like, in my perspective, having worked internationally, there's nothing like the opportunity that I believe is present in the US. And so I'll segue into, so that's a bit about myself. I'm currently in a 9-to-5. I start a new 9-to-5 on Monday after departing one I've been with for 4 years back in February. I've been doing my own thing for quite a while. Kaushik knows my story. And I've really wanted to have that own thing become my main thing, as opposed to working the standard 9-to-5 for all kinds of reasons related to time freedom. But so that's a bit about myself. My top 3 goals is goal number 1. It's to, in no particular order, but one of them is to hit 250,000 net in the next 12 months of net of earnings. And so net revenues, assuming that would be invoice or business-based revenues, and then of course net after taxes, in particular, not so much after expenses, but net after taxes, but depending on how my bookkeeping goes and accounting. Number 2 is becoming fully self-reliant on this business in 6 months and fire my 9-to-5, fire my boss. So it's not a tremendously high bar to set in terms of closing deals and getting some revenue in, but if it can allow me to step away from my 9-to-5, that would be a goal of mine within the next 6 months. And obviously, there's a lot of work to do to get there. And number 3 is to get the family to the US for a visit. My wife's been to the US; she's Australian, but I've got a son, 2 years old. My parents, so his grandparents on my side, haven't seen him yet, so it's my goal to get the family out there by November. I'm currently registered for Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within, their live event in November in the Newark area. So if all 3 of us can get out there, that would be amazing. Which it looks like it is tracking. So I've cheated a bit on that goal. Tell me about why you joined. So look, I joined because months ago I felt there was a need to develop my agency skills in order to take on higher tier clients with results-oriented marketing service. So last 6 months of 2023, I started booking some more and more video clients, ad hoc stuff, the occasional wedding thrown in just to, make an extra couple of, bucks in invoice revenue. But I knew there was opportunity for more. And when the Cinema Marketing Cheat Code ad came up on my feed, whether it's IG or Facebook, it just seemed like an opportune time to strike while the iron was hot. So it's a combination of having a bit of a hunger and desire for going down this route, and just the bit of the serendipity of the ad coming up, and again, just needing to take advantage of the opportunity. Hopefully I didn't waffle too much on that. Tell me about myself element of it, but I'll just leave it there. Those are my three top level items. The one biggest question that I have right now, being that I kind of just started, and this is officially the 23rd. I think today is officially my day one, or maybe yesterday, I don't know. But I've literally just been in Zeta Marketing Cheat Code on all day Sunday, and just consuming, and even Monday, consuming as much as possible. And one of the biggest questions I have right now, which I'm just trying to manage the fire hose of information, is I'm curious to know if there's anyone here who started without a specific agency brand, like name or domain. And if it's yes or no, it's did you, or any of you, I know Kaushik, you might do this obviously for your own brand, but anyone is using your own name as a domain first, like your name.co, and then maybe transitioning to a company-based brand or agency-based brand after. How did you kind of navigate that whole process? That's my biggest question, which I just realized now that I've read that out, that differs from the one I might have put in Slack, Kaushik, which is about the whole needing to do a video for my first funnel, but we can probably cover that later.
Well, fair enough. Thank you for that, Michael. Quite a bit of information. And in terms of your goals, thank you for sharing that with the guys. I can kind of see some of the guys nodding their head when you kind of share some of your goals there. It's interesting because the guys that are here right now, I would say Kyle and MJ, who you just met, are literally like, they're probably one chapter ahead of you. That's it. And then Daniel is one chapter above them. And so really, I feel like, again, Daniel and Kyle can kind of chime in and kind of share. Kyle's got quite a bit of experience. Although he's one chapter ahead of you, he's actually been doing digital marketing for years. So he's got quite a bit of experience with digital marketing. And Daniel's a chapter above in terms of our program. But really, I feel like some of the people that would add a lot of value are going to be kind of like the people that have been with us for a year or so. Those kinds of people who have ran this funnel, closed a deal, niche down, and then kind of done all, like those kinds of people are going to kind of be able to give you that level of value. So somebody like Mason, who's not here today, Aman might show up. I'm not sure if he will. Jorge, it sounds like he was here and he was driving, so maybe he'll hop in and maybe I'll kind of get his perspective for you. So I just want to kind of lead with that. But I guess I'll go and just like call on Kyle. Like, what are your thoughts in terms of Michael's question, in terms of like
Yeah, so I mean, for me, that's a good question because like when I first started my business, I kind of had in the back of my mind, like it was always going to be a digital marketing agency. And then I had the idea of creating videos. But I actually started as a digital marketing agency first and then got into the videography afterwards. So like my business name is Social Market IQ. So it kind of, for me, like that name is okay for what we're doing here. It's basically like social media marketing agency. So, I don't think I haven't thought about changing that name at all at this point. Maybe that'll change down the road. Like what Kaushik said, like maybe once I niche down, there could be something else. But yeah, for me, that name has kind of stuck. So I don't know if there's much, value I can offer. It's yeah.
Kyle,
no, that's great.
Yeah.
Kyle, let's say, I guess what pop quiz, just so we kind of play this out, and maybe this will help people out. Let's say you, again, after you close a deal, what would be a niche that you're interested in?
I've been thinking about this because like as we're getting closer and closer to niching down, I'm just like, man, what the hell am I going to do? Because like I've talked to so many businesses already, and they're all different areas, and there's like, so real estate's something that's calling to me because my mom, my sister, and even my brother-in-law, they're all in real estate. I have actually, from the ad that we're running, I had a lead come in, and he's like custom homes in Regina. And he's got high revenue already, and he's looking for even higher. So it's like the numbers are kind of appealing too. It's like, okay, if you're making over $1 million a month already, what does that look like in terms of working with them? So it's appealing to think in those kinds of numbers. But at the same time, I'm passionate about like something like jiu-jitsu. We kind of talked about that too. And when I think about that, I'm like, what the heck could I do? Like, I don't actually know much about the business side of running a club, a jiu-jitsu club. We have another guy, Jorge. Like I'd be kind of interested in chatting with him, honestly. But so yeah, I'm kind of having a hard time with that. Like, where am I going to niche down? I'm not really 100% sure. And then there's like, I talked to another lady. She's running a marketing agency. I'm like, well, I'm familiar with that too, and I know there's a lot of opportunity there. And it seems like that's where my mind's been for the last 3 years already. So that might be a good niche too. But so yeah, I don't know.
So all three of those are definitely plausible. Like obviously we've got Lisa now for realtors and sounds like that's home building potentially. Jorge, we have a really cool conversation with Jorge. So like definitely today you'll get a ton of value. He just had a conversation with another agency owner that's doing 300,000. And so my plan of action today was to speak with Jorge about that interaction and learn a ton. So I think you'll get a lot of value from that as well. So here's what I'm trying to lead to get help Michael out here. So let's say, for example, let's just say you did jiu-jitsu, right? So what would happen with your domain of Social Market IQ? What do you think would happen?
So likely that's going to change, right? I'm not sure what the name would be, but yeah, I'd want to change that probably right away.
So Michael, does that maybe answer your question in terms of that's what I was trying to ultimately lead to is like, you're going to use whatever domain at the very beginning. It doesn't really matter. As you can see, like I was putting a tremendous amount of thought into like, well, what do I want to niche down? I have all these opportunities. And then once he does niche down, did you see how like fast he was to say like, oh dude, like screw that. I would never use this domain. So that hopefully that kind of like answers that question for you. It changes quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, that question kind of does dovetail, Kaushik, to the discussion we had on I think it would have been our Saturday onboarding call with the prior agency that I've that's taken up a lot of my mental capacity over the last few years with supply chain consulting and integrated or digital marketing and stuff like that. And if the name is too long or just too unrelated or just too ubiquitous to what I actually do, then it certainly seems imperative that I identify a name or come up with a name that's more specific. But obviously, it would take up too much mental real estate to focus on that now. It's something that we can tackle down the road.
So for example, like me and Ethan, Real Meat as well, we were speaking, I think like 2 weeks ago, and what he's doing is he's going after wedding filmmakers. Because he's a wedding filmmaker, he's figured out how to run ads for them, all that stuff. And so we were kind of looking at the market and we were looking at things like Rapid Bookings, which is a competitor of his. And then I think what he came up with, it was like wedding, I forget what it was, but something wedding something, or something wedding. And so as you can see, it pertains to weddings. If you look at us, for example, I'm working with videographers that do work with business brands. So Cinna Marketing. It's very like, it's bang on in terms of like who I'm serving. So it's like if you were to do, Kairos, for example, then we would do something pertaining to Kairos. I will tell you, I feel very strongly that you shouldn't use your name in the agency game. The only time it makes sense is like, the only time it makes sense is if you're kind of going like a Gary V route or something like that, like very mass market. But like that's not fundamentally what we're doing. That's the only time I think it makes sense. Other than that, like you should pretty much bang on have a name, I think. That pertains to your niche. Daniel, do you want to maybe chime in terms of Michael's question? Do you have thoughts on this, or do you feel like we're pretty much echoing like what you think, or you want to chime in?
As far as the domain, like I've had my name of Acorns for literally years. I've just been sitting on the shelf, like I haven't done anything with it. So once I knew I wanted to go this way, I thought it was a good name for as far as like what we're doing, right? Like of like the idea of of Acorns turns into a mighty oak, right? So we're starting out small and building that trust. I thought that conveyed that pretty well. But listening to Kaushik, talk now, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like once I niche down, I don't know if I need to. I don't know if I need to add marketing in there because of Acorns is pretty broad. Like you don't really know what that is. So yeah, I guess I guess I don't have anything to add to that. Sorry.
No, it's still valuable.
Yeah. So for sure, I mean, I would say then, Daniel, like the main golden nugget to take away from that is just like once you do niche down, if you decide to go into Pilates, for example, like, if somebody hears of Acorns, are they going to think Pilates? Probably not. I have no clue. Like, you know, the story in your head of like Acorn of this, like you have this massive cool story, but like you want to be thinking like if 10 strangers are talking in a bar, are they going to have any idea that this brand pertains to you know, growth of Pilates, right? If 10 people are talking, it's like, yeah, dude, there's this program called the Cinema Marketing Cheat Code. Right away, they know it has something to do with video and something to do with marketing, which is
Mhm.
exactly what I want to serve, right? So that's how I would be thinking about it. I like
Yeah.
I think Camilo's is kind of witty. I think once he niches down, it's not going to apply. But for what he's doing right now, it's witty, which is I think my social for what is it? My social for business or something.
Yeah, it's social for business. But when I was gonna buy that domain, social for business, it was taken. So I added my social, but just for the domain, but business name is social for business.
So you know, and right now Camilo's just like kind of doing general, working with all kinds of
Yeah,
different perfectly applies. Social media for businesses. So boom. If anybody hears
exactly.
that, you're like social media for business, common sense. Right. So that's how I like to think about brand names. So I think Camilo's like hit that one out of the park. So hopefully that kind of gives some perspective to you, Daniel, as well as Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, does sure does.
Um, Michael, was that the core question you wanted to kind of ask and get feedback from the guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that's dawned on me over the course of the discussion was that it's it's an important question. But I think the real thesis behind it, or the real reasoning behind it, um, is something that can be explored at that stage, that niching down stage. I have a temporary domain, or I can, just go to Namecheap and I can get a derivative of my current consulting agency .co or something like that. It's Shadforth Consulting, and if I just use like shadforthmarketing.com, and just use that as the domain or whatever like that, just temporarily until the niche down phase, and it's then I can go into
100%.
the brain trust and figure that out.
Yeah, 100%. Like shadconsulting.co or shadmarketing.co. That's
Marketing.
fine for like this phase for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Michael, anything else? We'll circle back and we'll answer your question. But anything else in terms of introductions before I move on to Camilo?
No, that's it. Yeah, no, thank you for giving me the stage there. I feel like I've um, revealed as much as I possibly could so far in terms of the time allowed, and it's relevant.
Good stuff, man. Cool. Camilo, stage is yours. Who are you? What brought you here? Top 3 goals, and then a question for the guys.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So my name is Camilo Jimenez, originally from Colombia in South America. I was born and raised there, and then I've always been obsessed with English, like learning English since I was a little kid. I used to pretend that I spoke English when I had no idea about the language. And then, so as soon as I graduated high school, I told my parents I wanted to go somewhere where they spoke English. They spoke English. So we tried England, it didn't work out. We tried the USA, it didn't work out. And then our last resort was Canada. And I don't know, it was a miracle, but it worked out. And I ended up going to Canada for 6 months. While I was there, I got a soccer scholarship at the college where I was going. And then so I ended up staying, got my residence, stayed there, did my bachelor's in business with a minor in marketing. And that's when I got like involved in marketing. As soon as I graduated, I had no experience, I had no guidance. And ended up working for like a State Farm selling insurance, which is not what I wanted. Then I started dating my now wife, and she was here in the US. She was in Georgia. And then we started dating. So it was a long distance relationship for like 4 years. And then I was ready to get married. And she's like, okay, but I'm not going to go to Canada. Canada is way too cold. You need to move to Georgia. I was like, okay, that's good. I'm fine. So I moved to Georgia, and then I got a job at a nonprofit as a marketing director. And then I was asked to do a video for one of the medical mission trips that we were doing. I was like, I've never done a video. I've never touched a camera in my life. But they were like, you can just do it with your phone. And I did it, and they loved it. And then my boss was super impressed. And he's like, you're really good at this. And what can we do so you can be better at it? So I was like, okay, just give me some equipment, some cameras. microphone slides, and I need a course. I need to learn about cameras because I didn't know anything about them. So that's why when I bought like full-time filmmaker by Parker, that's how I learned everything about cameras and all of that stuff. And then 2020 happened. The pandemic just hit us really hard with because we were doing mission trips, international trips, and we were taking medical students to these countries. And then they didn't have any vaccines or anything, so school was like, okay, no more trips, everything's canceled until the whole pandemic is over. And then so I used that time to transition over to Atlanta. That's when I moved to Atlanta. And then I got a job at a logistics company with this guy. He's like, I just want you to shoot tons of videos with me. Like I'm like the best CEO in the world, and I want to shoot tons of videos. I was like, okay, let's do it. He gave me his car. He's like, buy anything that you want, like any cameras, anything, computers. I was like, okay. So I bought a ton of gear, but the guy was super busy. He never had time. So every single week is like, okay, next week we'll shoot something. Next week we'll shoot something. Next month I'm gonna be out of the country. And then so I use that time to learn more about the business side of video, and then just work on my skills. And then I started getting like side jobs, like $5,000 projects, $7,000 projects that I was shooting on the weekends. And then I knew that eventually he was gonna just fire me because we're not doing anything. I was just like sitting at a desk waiting for him. And of course, that time came, January 2022. I had just had my baby, my daughter. And he's like, you know what? We're done. We can keep working together. So I had some savings, and I told my wife, like, just give me 3 months. Excuse me. And if this doesn't work out, I'll just get a job. And she's like, okay, let's try this. And I started just doing a lot of networking, and it started getting more and more traction. And then that's what's been happening with my business for the past 2 years. I've been running my business, doing this like full time for the past 2 years, and it's been doing well. Now reach about $100,000 a year, which is pretty good for someone who has no idea how to run a business or anything. But last year, I guess that leads into my second question, like why I joined this program is because last year was a great year for me. I made about $120,000, a lot of social media content, short form content. But what I noticed was that every single client was shooting content for 2 to 3 months, and they were finding an excuse to cut me off. Like, hey, we just have some expenses, or I need to do some things here and there, and we'll get back to shooting with you later on. But then what I realized was like they were not seeing any results from the videos that I was shooting. So I'm like, videos look great, they're amazing, but I don't see like an ROI from these videos. And then so I started seeing that throughout the year. This year it's been a little bit slower. And I was like, I need to do something else, something different, so that I can get results for my clients. And I knew like doing Facebook ads and doing funnels, that's what works with clients. So that's why I started just looking into that, got into a couple of calls with different coaches. And I told this to Kushik, like some people that he knows, they were they were offering how to get more clients. But I can get clients, but I need to get results for people. That's what I need. And so that's why I got this program. And yeah, so my top 3 goals with this program, number one is just master, the skill of Facebook ads and building funnels. That's what I want to learn. Which that's going to help me with my goal number 2, which is leverage the power of funnel building and Facebook ads to do $15,000 to $20,000 months, which is going to help me into my goal number 3, which is to replace my wife's income. So we have 2 daughters. One is 2 years old, the other one's 3 months old, so that she can stay at home with her daughters. That's my goal. So just replace her income so she can stay home, and then if eventually just bring her in and just help me out with the business and with all the admin of running the business. So yeah, it's a little bit about me and what I want to get from this course. And And I guess the question that I had, it was just to what we were just talking about, and it is about just going through all the material. I'm like, this is so good, and I have so many ideas of people that I can run this for. And so there's realtors, chiropractors, physical therapists. So my question was more about niching down. So once you niche down, like what is it that you take into consideration to pick a niche? So you're like, is it something you're passionate about, or is it something that just because you know there's gonna be profits and there's gonna be money?
It's a good question. Thank you, first of all, Camille. Great introduction, just like Michael. Very valuable and good in terms of like painting colors within the lines in terms of who you are, man. I both for you and Michael, man, I wish that we had some of the OG guys in here. Jorge just hopped in and he's been with us since 2022, so maybe you can kind of chime in. But even in his case, I mean, I feel like maybe Aman will pop in. I don't think Mason will pop in. Maybe what I want to do is like maybe sometime next week to ask some of those older guys for you, because I want you to get their perspective, not just hear it from me. Obviously, I'm going to tell you my thing. I know you want to hear their thing. But as you know, like Kyle, you just kind of heard a little bit of what he's doing. He's like not at that stage of figuring out what his identity is. Daniel as well. I mean, I've been wondering, I've been waiting to hear from Daniel. Actually, Daniel, I've been waiting to hear from you all week in terms of like doing the homework and kind of seeing where you're at in terms of figuring out the niche. I don't know how far you've gone in the homework with that. But I guess what we can do is we can maybe call upon Jorge and maybe kind of hear from him, because he's already niched down in terms of jujitsu, and maybe kind of hear from him. There are very strategic things that I look at for what to niche down in. Like I'm very logical. But we can maybe just hear from Jorge and kind of just hear like his perspective on like why he niched down to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jorge, you want to maybe share with us like how you came to that conclusion, man?
Yeah, sure. So first off, nice to meet you, Michael and Camilo. I'm glad to have you guys in here. But how I basically came down to niching down to jujitsu was because over the years, it just made sense. It just came down to it, right? I was doing a lot of video content for my gym, which was the academy that I worked at. But then I realized that through those years, I built a lot of connections with the gym owners, and I understood their pain points. I understood what they needed. I basically knew the system of running a school from A to Z, and nobody was running their ads, or they had a lot of bad experiences with people running their ads. And so as I was transitioning to learning how to run ads, not only for myself, but for clients, I was also struggling, okay, which way should I niche down? Like I had like a tattoo artist at some point, and then I had like a regular personal trainer type gym. And it just made sense to go down to the jujitsu route because I had a lot of resources, but also I had a lot of confidence in myself and knowing the back end of the business, right? And like what I felt was the missing piece that I needed was just knowing how to run ads for them, because I already had the content down. I already understood the what a gym member would want. Like I was signing up new members on a daily basis. So I kind of had everything encompassed except just the missing link, which was getting leads to the door. So that's how I niche down.
Cool.
Does that answer your
Perfect.
question?
Thank you.
I think if we look at some of the most successful agency owners, right? Jim Launch from Hormozy,
Mhm.
he ran his own gym,
Mhm.
right? Like, what am I doing? It's because I was a videographer that ran ads for businesses, right? Any, I think, successful business, it's because they had their hands inside, and so they were very they had figured out a lot of stuff. And even like I'll tell you, like Aman's not here right now, but me and Aman have talked about like he has like a local medical spot, and I was like, dude, why don't you go in there and just like intern in there and like get paid very little just so we can test out our ads and funnels, like literally at that level. So it's really like a big part of it is like what you know about the niche. Like it's not like the most important thing, but it's a factor. That's a factor. Another factor will for sure be how passionate you are. I don't think you need to be super passionate about it, but I would say you should not hate it.
Yeah. Totally.
Like for me, for example, like I could probably make just as much, if not more, if I niche down and I did something like tattoos, or I thought about another niche, which is what is it called? HVAC. Not HVAC. What is it? What is the niche where they hazard abatement? That's a
Mhm.
crazy niche. I don't know if anybody's familiar with hazard abatement. Like that stuff, man, they'll pay you like 40 grand to like clean up. It's insane. Mason's here. Mason, I don't know if we're gonna hear him or not, but so like those are a few things. Now, Camilo, let me share my screen with you here. Mason, is that you with the noise, or is that Jorge? Who's that with the noise? Okay, so this is something that's super crucial to understand. Is the name of the game in business is simply to increase profit, and increasing profit is simply about ruthlessly increasing the delta between CPA and LTV. That's all business is. That's literally it. Anything that anybody tells you ever, it doesn't like fundamentally understand business. Like your job is, how do I basically take LTV, go harder and harder to the right? And then my cost per acquisition, how do I bring it down? That's it. And then you have a big delta. And so I gave you that example, Camilo, of like some of our competitors that are charging a crazy high LTV, but their CPA is high as well. And so their delta is not nearly as high as mine, right? Like fundamentally, that's what it is. And so if you're asking about the business side of things, like there's the passion, there's the experience, there's all of those things. But then if you're trying to figure out business, like this is it. This is it. And so the question becomes, how do you increase, and so this is something I had created for Elman. So CPA LTV is if I sell just the course. And then if I do a low ticket course, I think my CPA was lower here. I was giving Elman an example here. Okay. Okay, this should actually be stretched on the other side, cost per acquisition. Okay, so just to, this is a while ago since I brought this up, but like the CPA is here. Let's say just we sell a low ticket course, right? There's barely any profit. However, if I sell the course, my cost per acquisition doesn't change. It's very similar, but the LTV is much higher because now I'm introducing coaching. And then if I basically now introduce a profit share, well, then now my delta is even higher. And that's it. And so that's what Hormozi was doing. He was getting people in. And as soon as, do you know what Hormozi was doing like within the first like 4 weeks? Do you know?
With the gyms?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So what he would do is he would run ads. He would acquire them through a typical VSL funnel, right? Ad, book a call, they nurture, discovery call, sales call, whatever. So CPA was, nothing insane. And then what he would do is within the first, he would get them in for as low as $1,000. It's crazy. He charged like 60 bands, but he gets them in for as low as $1,000. And what he would do is within like the first month, he would run a reactivation campaign. So he would basically take all of their people and he would resell to all of them, but he would charge an arm and a leg. He would figure out some kind of a way where instead of charging like $50 a member, he would charge them like $600 a member. So what he did is he made them a crap ton of money. And then right away he would say, okay, now you can pay us the 16 grand that you owe us. And they were happy to pay the 16 grand, right?
Yeah.
And then what he would do is he would say, hey, by the way, in terms of the game of business, the ads change, the strategy changes, the meta changes. What we're doing in our company is we're constantly testing out ads. We're constantly testing out new offers. We're constantly testing out all the stuff. We're putting a bunch of money into it. If you want, it's, I think like $1,000 or $3,000 a month. And so they paid 16 grand and then now they're paying another 3 grand a month. And his churn rate was like 1%. It was insane. That's why everybody respects him. The people that are actually in the game, that are in the agency game, nobody has a 1% churn rate. Nobody, but he did. And so what he's doing is his CPA and his LTV is here at let's say he's charging $1,000, right? He's charging $1,000 to get people in through the door. His CPA still stays here. And now it's way over here when he's making the 16K. And then he goes from this to like way over here when he puts in the 3K per month. Right. And so your CPA, here's what I will tell you. Here's kind of the most important thing to understand. It's like your CPA, it'll always go up and to the right. So how much it costs you to acquire a customer will always go up and to the right. So this right here will always go from here to here to here to here. That's what will happen. It'll always cost you more and more money. And the way you change that is the different funnel types. Whether you do a low ticket funnel, whether you do a VSL funnel, a webinar funnel, the different kind of funnel will bring this down, the cost down, as well as how good you are at nurturing and selling people. But inevitably, it's going to go up and to the right, just like gravity is going to come down to the ground. So what's important to understand is don't fight this. Don't fight your cost per acquisition. Instead, do what I do. Do what Hormozi does. What do? We say, fuck it. If it costs us $20 a lead, $50 a lead, $100 to make a sale, $2,000, I don't care. I'm just going to focus on making as much money as possible to increase the delta. This is way easier to do. They say, like, for example, you can save money or you can make more money. Which one do you want to do? Oh, I will stop this Netflix subscription. I will eat, like, this food and that food. It's fucking hell. Why don't you just learn how to make more money?
Mhm.
So that's my philosophy. And that's what I will say most businesses do. They just focus on this stuff, focus on increasing the LTV. So the question becomes, Camilo, again, we're going super in depth of business. Like, what can you do to increase the LTV? So what Hormozi did is he realized, like, all these gym owners were charging $50 a month. How the fuck do I get these gym owners to charge like $2,000 per client up front? And he figured it out. Right. And so, like, what am I doing? Instead of helping you guys close a $5,000 deal, I'm helping you guys try to figure out how to close a $30,000 deal, a $100,000 deal. Same thing applies.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Does this help a little bit in terms of?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool. Guys, that was quite a bit in terms of introductions. But let's go ahead and hop on in and kind of run through questions as usual. Who do we have first?
I think it was Dan.
Daniel, yeah. Daniel, I responded to you. Did you get a chance to check this out?
Yeah, I did, but I got more questions didn't type
Cool.
in there yet.
Cool. What do you got
As
for
I'm
me?
just kind of like learning. A lot of them are technical questions, so probably go to Mason, but things like the SMS campaign. So like I'm eager to launch my client's SMS campaign because that's what sold her basically was like doing this right away. Just was curious of like, is that, and I saw on one of the videos Mason saying like I add her as an employee, like I create her business as a sub account and then add her as an employee. But then just now you were saying that that's not a good idea because I thought you said, I didn't catch it. You said because like, eventually they can kind of like basically fire you, right? Is that what you're saying?
If you add them to if they have their own Go High Level account and they have their own funnel, then yeah, they can fire you if they want. I wouldn't worry about that with her. And like, I wouldn't worry in your particular case. Like, I wouldn't stress about that kind of stuff right now.
Okay. But then just wondering like, okay, so the SMS, is that out of my number? Does she get her own Go High Level number? I was just curious about like how all that works.
So basically, you would set up your own Go High Level account for her. So she would have her own phone number on her own Go High Level account. And everything would be run through there. So you're separating your agency with the clients that you sign on. So you'll have multiple sub accounts for people that you're working with. So say I have 6 sub accounts. One of them is me, and then 5 are my clients.
Okay, yeah, I got it. And then just go through the whole thing of like getting approved for a number like for her, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And then I guess I have to go back and watch how I created or did the pixels because I definitely don't remember how to do that. But you were saying that or when she was trying to give me access, like she didn't have any pixels to give access to. So just go ahead and create her pixels. And then I was looking. I don't think I have any pixels either, as far as like my own.
But you
business
should.
account.
So you should have a free video commercial pixel. So the term has been changed. So don't let this confuse you. But there's not really a difference between data set and pixel. So pixel is just kind of used as a term to say data set now, just because it's so brand new that no one's really saying data set. That being said, what you need to do, Daniel, is you need to go into the Meta Business Manager and you need to go to data sources and then find data sets. And then all you need to do is create a data set. And the rule of thumb, if you want to write this down, is you want to have one data set / pixel for every niche. So for example, if I was working with a painter, I would want one pixel or data set named painter pixel. and one named this and one named that. And then when you niche down, essentially you're going to build out your pixel, right? You're going to have like an agency pixel. So let's say that you only work with yoga studios. Well, you'll have like a Daniel Yoga Studio pixel for advertising. And then you'll have another pixel for their clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll go back and watch this again and make sure I got all the notes right. And then I'll also looking back at the old videos. And then I just noticed that, I don't know if I missed something, but she applied, or she submitted the form on step 3 or 4 or whatever it was for the onboarding, and I didn't get notified. And in the future, like, should I get notified? Like, how do I go about getting notified? Like, I'm sure it's just like entering another trigger or something, but I don't know where that's supposed to go. So like I get a text or something saying, hey, so and so submitted their form.
Yeah. So what you can do is create an automation similarly to how you created your calendar automation, obviously without creating a calendar, but you're going to make the trigger like form filled out. And then when they submit that form, you can do create/update opportunity, and then you can move her to a different stage in a pipeline if you wanted. So maybe like client onboarding complete, or just put her to a client part. And then you're going to do an internal notification. You can add email or SMS whenever that form is filled out.
Okay. And thanks for taking time to answer my questions, Mason, even though you're feeling pretty bad.
You're good. I'm fucking dying, guys.
Sorry, man. But I appreciate you toughing it out for us.
100%.
And then this is just like a generic question, I guess. I remember, so on my invoice, I invoiced her, right, to pay when I signed her on, and I actually labeled the ad spend $1,000. Should I not have done that? Like, because my thing is like, okay, so what if it doesn't take 1,000? Like, what if I'm able to use less than 1,000? Like,
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
okay, yeah. So so now, like, you know, I guess it's just like one line item, like marketing services, and then just the whole thing. That's what I.
So think about what Kaushik just said about the LTV and acquiring the client. The reason that digital marketing agencies do well, especially the big dogs, is the fact of what you're saying, except they are not going to tell you how much money they're representing in ad spend. So for example, the gap is bigger if I can acquire a client for $10 and the LTV is 1,000, right? Now imagine that you're getting paid just a standard fee of $1,500 per month and making them $20,000, right? It doesn't make much sense. So what I'm getting at here is the better that you get and the more you niche down, the better you are going to get at getting results. So that money that requires to get them X amount of results, say, right? Like 20 clients per month, etc. Maybe that's like the deal that you guys make or whatever, that's your offer. Then you can pocket all of the extra money that they're giving you in ad spend, as long as you're, you know what I mean, doing exactly what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Daniel, is your question like, what should you do here on out? Is that what your question was? Or
Well, my question was, yeah, here on out. So basically, like when I invoice clients or when they for the payment, like I'm not going to include. And I thought about it, like once I sent it, I was like, fuck, I probably shouldn't have done that. But you know, so like now I wonder if she's gonna, you know, we're gonna check to see if she's spending her ad money, and if not, like is she expecting a reimbursement?
Right. Yeah.
And if so, I would just I guess I would just not burn it, but like that's probably a bad term, but just, you know, spend the money on ads. And
I mean, we'll cross this bridge when we need to. I always recommend just do things the way I do them, right? Like just have a page, have people be able to pay one-time payment, subscription, like that's it. I don't even send people invoices or anything like that. I don't even like doing that. So it's like you hop on a call, have somebody go there, they say that they're willing to pay, you take them to a page, card details, they pay. That's it. They don't need to. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about that stuff moving forward. It's okay. Whatever's happened. It's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And then niching down, I had more questions or more thoughts rather, just on this call. Like, I don't know, my first thought was like, I remember like you saying how medical spas are very lucrative. I'm like, well, there's a shit ton around me, but you said it doesn't really matter because we're going nationally, internationally. But so now I'm like, well, shit, like what? I mean, what should I niche down? And I do have a lot of connections in real estate because my last job was in real estate, and I was doing the marketing for them there. So like I don't think that's like a natural progression or like natural step. Then just hearing about jujitsu now, I'm like, okay, well I know there's a ton of jujitsu schools. The one thing that did turn me off was when I first started, I originally thought chiropractors, but honestly, I don't know if it's just like I've been seeing so many ads now for chiropractors, like, oh, there's like fire your agency, and like this is like bullshit, and just this is what the model for chiropractors to get more clients, and it's just like I see those like I mean tons a day, so I'm like maybe that's a little oversaturated now, but or maybe I don't know if that's a word, but
Yeah. So really quick, before I answer that question, to hop deep dive in, there's a video to watch. There's a video to watch. It's titled "Watch This After You've Closed Your First Deal." Have you watched that video or you haven't?
I haven't yet. Actually have it queued.
Daniel,
And I've been doing things out of order, I guess. Like I keep forgetting. I don't know. Like I watch the onboard of my client, and then I'm going on to like the next steps, and it's just like, oh, I forgot about the.
I am going to murder you, Daniel.
Please don't.
You in the chin. I'm being facetious, I'm joking, but that is the number one thing you should be doing right now. Nothing else, man. I've been watching you this past week, and I just thought, here's what happens. And I love you, Dan. This comes from a place of love. Most people, they close the deal, they chill for like 2 days. It's okay to take 2 days to celebrate, get a beer, enjoy. You made some bands, good stuff. You made it rain, right? But then after that, man, you got to put your foot on the gas pedal again. And so I've been waiting to hear back from you because in that, I know when people watch that video because they watch the video and then I have homework for them to do and then they have to respond back to me. So I've been waiting to hear from you all week. And so I thought maybe you've been asking about it this week. So if I'm you, like everything that we're talking about, like the question you're saying, there's material on that. So
Okay.
here's the reality. Here's the reality. This is super important. And you might have some cognitive dissonance on this. Here's the truth. Right now, 80% of your time and energy should be spent on that video and that homework. 20% should be spent on this client. She should not have as much head of your focus as she has right now. I know you might be like, what the heck is Kushi talking about? I just made $8,000 and I got all this shit to do. I promise you it's not. It's just like everything else that doesn't make sense. It'll make sense as you progress. That video is so much more important. So much more important. Watch that video. That video has everything you need in terms of videos to watch, homework, niching down, all that stuff.
Okay.
Right now, if you don't watch it, you don't do the homework, you're gonna have what you have right now, which is like shiny object syndrome, which is like this sounds good, and that sounds good, and this sounds good. And so the purpose of that is to help you stay laser focused and pick a niche from an objective standpoint.
Okay.
So my suggestion to you is after this call, dude, like please, like whatever, like take this, like you got to go into overdrive with this where you watch that and like do that stuff. And I want to hear back from you like mid this week in terms of your niche. Yeah, you got to overdrive and do both with her and this, or maybe stop, like maybe not focus as much with her stuff and then focus on this. Like your fast cash injection with her is like, I promise it's not nearly as important as this video with her.
Okay, well, I definitely have been prioritizing her then because I'm like, okay, I signed her, I got paid. Like I don't want her to have buyer's remorse, number one, and like be like, where the fuck is this guy? Like, like, and I definitely like, I don't want to say I fumbled, but the onboarding wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be, or I thought I was like, okay, I wanted this perfect, and it wasn't. So yeah, I'm just kind of
it's not going. That's the point. Like the first one, like I love you, Dan. Like, but the purpose of it is to fumble, so that when you have niche down and it is time to actually play ball, you won't fumble.
Okay. And then well, I guess I mean if I'm just keep asking questions on the niche down since I haven't watched the videos yet, but if maybe the answers later on when I do watch a video. But then another thought I had was, okay, how do I figure on in terms of figuring out a niche was like, do I just those videos, do I just like make a bunch of like niche videos and then launch those, and then whichever ones I'm getting like, okay, then fuck all the rest. I'm going with this niche.
Just the video will guide you through exactly what you need.
Okay, got
You're,
it.
you're overthinking it, I promise you. It's a simple process. Just follow the
And
directions.
then another thought was like, all these opportunities I have, like that's still like that were in the funnel that are just like, I'm like, oh man, like I can. There's so many potentials. Like I could like get like three more bands. But
I mean, if you want to have fun with it and sell them and like maybe outsource it or give it to somebody else, go for it. Like even the Pilates thing right now. I know
Yeah.
you made 8 bands from that. I know it sounds
but I
crazy.
guess that's all I have as far as questions. Yeah, I'll message you about what's been going on this week. But like, yeah, I was definitely distracted this week after making the sale. But yeah,
Okay, sounds good. Can you hear me, Dan? I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Dan, because Dan's frozen. I was talking, he kind of like hopped in mid. I think maybe it might be on his end then.
Must have rage quit.
Right. All right. Well, whenever he comes back. Dan, whenever you come back, we'll be here. I love you. So who do we got next? We got Kyle, right?
Yes.
Kyle, what's going on, man? Did you get to read some of this stuff? Oh, yeah.
Oh, pardon me there. I kind of cut out a little.
You're good, man. I asked you if you had a chance to read some of this stuff here. And
Oh
you're-
yeah. So yeah, I kind of did read through some of this actually while you were talking there. Let me just refresh my memory here. So when it comes to selling, for example, sometimes I don't see the commercial. Yeah, like so yeah, I kind of got, just a little background here. Like I basically I was like a week behind or whatever because that stupid GHL issue. So then I just started like once we ran the ads, it was crazy how quick the leads started coming in. And then I was like, oh shit, I gotta like figure out how to do these discovery calls. So as these leads are coming in, I'm trying to watch your videos and I'm like, shit, I should be like trying to get back to these people like as fast as I can. So I kind of like, but then I was like nervous to get on the phone with them because I didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, they started just piling up and I was like amazed at how well your ad was working. And then on top of that, I even had some other like business owners that I've worked with. They saw that I was running ads, and then they were sharing it to their friends, and then they those guys were calling me like directly. And so anyway, yeah, so it was like very overwhelming. And then which is a good thing. It was really good. It was pretty cool to see like how effective it was. But then it's like I have all these questions and it's like all these different industries. One of the things that came up for me, like when I was doing these discovery calls, is I would have a hard time thinking like, okay, so what, like if I get them on the sales call, what offer am I going to sell them, right? Like because the funnel makes sense, but then when maybe I'm jumping ahead too much, but I'm trying to think of like how do I close this in the end, and then I wasn't very sure on like pricing and that kind of thing. So more or less like I know that you mentioned this, like the goal is to basically just close something, but is there like a monetary value that I should be aiming at, like when I make that sale? Like,
Yeah, so I think kind of what I told MJ, which is like, I'm just looking for you guys to make it hurt enough that you and I both know that you sold them, right? So if you take somebody and you charge them like $100, like, come on, you know what I mean? Like that peanuts, and it doesn't like it, that doesn't mean that you made them like, I want to see pain is essentially what I'm saying. So like, can you like, and as I was saying, MJ, like, can you charge my 15, 20 bands that's only making $1,000 profit? Yeah, but like, you got to be insanely good. And I'm not expecting that, but am I expecting you to be able to like charge $1,500 a month? Like, yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
$1,500 a month, or if you want to do even a profit share, like, I'll be honest, like the hardest sale is going to be like the pay in full. The second is going to be, and that's what Daniel did. The second hardest is going to be your monthly payment plan. And then the easier, which I feel like if I were to put in a tier, like pay in full is here, monthly payment plan is here, and then the profit share and all that stuff is like way down here.
Yeah.
Difficulty level. But like all of those count.
Right. Yeah. So there's one guy, his name's Andrew, and he was like, this guy messaged me at 3 a.m. and he's like, hey man, like, sorry, like I'm so excited. And if I don't send you this message now, like I won't send you a message. So He sent me a text message at 3 in the morning. I thought that was kind of funny, but I got on the phone with him and he was like a cool guy, right? Like he's very passionate about what he's doing, but he's kind of in a tough situation. Like he's broke, right? Like he had some, I got his whole life story, but long story short, he doesn't have that much capital. And then I was like, look, like, like I'd really like, and I would really like to help this guy. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this may not be the most profitable thing for me to do, but like I do kind of want to help him out a little bit. I think that some of these ads could work. And just like, so he's a woodworker, right? So he's trying to sell, like, after talking to him, I found out that like his biggest profit margin is selling these nice dining room tables. So his profit on that's like $3,000. He sells them for 5. But he's like, I don't even have a portfolio, but like these are the prices and all this stuff. So, and then like as we were talking, he's like, well, like I don't have that much income coming in. However, because he just started doing this, he's like, however, there's a guy that wants to buy all this wood off me because so his business model is he recycles this wood. Basically, he takes down these barns in farmers' fields for free, and he does all the work at like dismantling them, and then they give him the wood, and then he goes back and he kind of like recycles that wood, and he makes all these projects with it. So some guy like paid him, I think almost like, and this was after the call. So before he didn't have any money to give me, but then after he sent me a text, he's like, hey, this guy's just going to give me $5,000. And like, so before that I had told him, I said, look, this is going to be a little bit pricey because like we want to spend at least $1,000 on ads, and then there's my costs or whatever, right? And he's like, oh man, he's like, I'd really love to do it, I just don't know if I got the cash. I'm like, well, maybe we can make you a deal, like maybe we can work out a profit share, right? But you need at least to get me $1,000 in ads. And then at the time he's like, oh, I don't know if I can make that happen. And then like the day later he's like, that guy paid me $5,000. He's like, I'll give you that $1,000. So anyway, I haven't talked to him yet because I kind of wanted to mention that to you guys first. So I'm supposed to talk to him tomorrow, but technically I guess you can consider that like maybe a sale, but it's like kind of on the lower end of that. Yeah. So in my mind, it's like not really a win, right? But I still, I'm curious about like how I could help him, and maybe what would you guys kind of recommend, maybe a way going forward with that situation?
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So first of all, what I want to see you guys do is like I want you guys to go like practice like proper etiquette in terms of like what I will say to be true, that I know is true. And what I'll tell you is like if you talk about price and all that stuff on the discovery call, typically it's a no-go. And so you kind of sort of got lucky with that guy, like being able to say $1,000. Like there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. So for me, for example, with my sales funnel, the way it's created, what do I say? Hey, you have to be able to afford $50 per day on ad spend, or don't hop on this call. I'm never saying to people, hey, I need $1,000 or I can't even hop on a call. It's like a trick to disqualify and disqualify people.
Mm-hmm.
And so similarly, once you niche down, you'll have a disqualifying question as well, right?
Yeah.
But for the 6 figure and 60 sales funnels, like I don't want you guys to actually be doing that kind of stuff. I want you guys to like use the proper script in place. So I don't really want you guys to be talking about price or any of that stuff. I want you to be able to create that hype, create that desire, and then use the vehicle analogy, because all those skills are super important. I want you to be able to build so much hype and so much anticipation that they're going to hop on the sales call, even if you don't like just through that. And so that's something I thought that's important for you, is like my suggestion would be to try to stick to the script more closely. So that's kind of my first tip to you.
Well, in that situation, he actually did. So I actually did book the sales call. Like I didn't mention anything until after.
Oh, okay.
So it did work. Like did discovery call. He booked a sales call, and I was hesitant to even do that because I was like, I wanted to book him into this week because I wanted to chat with you guys maybe first. But then you're like, no, you got to do 48 hours at least, like at the max kind of thing. So I was like, okay. So I like moved it back and I just chatted with him, right? But even before seeing some of the content on like the sales, right? So I was like kind of like ahead of myself in that, and I knew that. So yeah, I don't think I followed that your sales script exactly.
Okay, so the $1,000, was that mentioned on the discovery call or the sales call?
That was a sales call.
Okay, then that's fine. My
Yeah.
apologies. I misunderstood. I assumed that you had spoken about that on the discovery call. In that case, scratch everything I just said. My apologies.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think I explained it properly. So
that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So a few more things are on my mind. that was the first thing. The second thing is, yeah, this technically qualifies, man. It technically qualifies as a sale. It technically qualifies as you like being the stage and then us moving on. The third thing to note is like you have like really good intentions and you're coming from a good place in your heart, and I applaud you for that. And like I think it's very admirable. But in terms of like the overall game and like your journey, like what lays ahead of you, if you get caught up on that, man, like you're gonna get behind in the program. There are other things that we have to do. So it's like you can take this on, and I'm sure I'm with your experience with paid ads and everything, like, dude, I know that you could probably figure something out. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure you could. The problem is just like there are other things that we have to do.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that kind of answers your question. Like in terms of the
Well,
overall picture, like like it would cost, like for example, here's what I'll say. Right now, you're in a place where you felt overwhelmed, where you couldn't even watch the course material to execute it properly, right?
Mhm.
So if you feel like you're strapped for time now, then when it comes to all these other things that we have to do, if you do take them on, you're gonna feel the same way. You're gonna be like, holy shit, I don't got time to do watch the video. I don't have time to do all this stuff. And that's gonna ultimately hurt you. That's my
Yeah, and that's a good point, because that was kind of my next question. Because I mean, I have like, look, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got like 7 sales calls booked here. And I don't know. Yeah, like I guess in that sense, if we consider this one closed, or even though I haven't got any money, like I'm sure he would give me the money if I wanted it. What should I do with these other ones?
Here's what I would do is if the moment, so if I'm you after this call, try to collect cash as soon as possible. Okay.
Okay.
So if that means you head him up tonight and then onboard him, great. Or tomorrow, because then you're officially done. And then what you can do right after that is like shut off your ads. As soon as you collect cash, shut off your ads.
Okay.
And then, and obviously, like, let us know. Like, Koshik, I close officially because then I'm gonna have like stuff for you to watch and stuff for you to do.
Okay.
And then if I were you, because you have these other 9 sales, like we said 7 or 9.
I think I have 7 booked right now.
Okay. If I were you, I would just get the reps in, dude. Because you already paid for it. You might as well get the reps in while you complete the other homework that I'm gonna give you. I think there's enough time to do that. I think that the sales calls are super crucial and build like it's super crucial that you build those skills. It's super crucial that you run through that script and practice it and go over and over, do as many reps as possible, because when you have niche down and when it is time to play with the big boys, you have it dialed in. So
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think that it's like I don't think it's worth like you saying, hey, I caught $1,000 from this guy and then I'm good to go. Like, no, I think you should do the reps in. I think you should
Okay.
put the
And so would you say then collect the money from these guys and maybe refund them? Is that
yeah,
kind of
actually.
yeah.
Yeah. And so what might happen is you might close $1,000 for this one, and then you might close like 2 other deals and each at like 1,000, and then maybe another one at like 10,000. And then
Mhm.
let's say 3, so you close 3 out of 10, and then one of those you might be like, shit, I actually want to niche down in this. Maybe it's the
Right.
woodworking guy. Maybe you say, fuck it, dude, I want to niche down the woodworking guy. Well, then great. Well, then maybe we go all in on him, and then we refund the other 2, or you outsource the other 2, you hire it out or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. But in short, step 1, get on and try to collect from it as soon as possible. Notify us if you do. 2, put in the reps with the other guys and act as if you haven't won the game yet. Act as if like, hey, you still have to close.
Okay.
And
Okay.
3, like update us as you're having these calls.
Okay. Yeah. Like for example, there's one call for probably tonight, and this is the one that I was more hesitant about because it's a different. I've never worked in this industry. I guess it's like I mentioned it. I think before it was he basically sells like sponsorships on his race cars, and I don't know. I was like he seems super interested in trying to make Facebook and Instagram work because he has like tons of organic reach and he hasn't really ran ads or anything. He said he spent like $7 on an ad campaign. So I was like, okay, so you haven't really done much there. But in terms of he only has 3 cars and there's limited spots on his cars. So I'm just trying to think, okay, well, and some of the value, like the lifetime value, the average order value was very low. And I was like, I don't know if this, necessarily works. So I was trying to come up with a way, to make these works. And I was kind of stumped. Right. And so that makes it kind of hard to sell too.
Yeah. So is it like, so his business model is where he will put the logo of the sponsors on his car?
Yeah. And so he has like dash cams in there. So like people see like these sponsorship stickers. And like one of the sponsorship spots is worth like $2,000, right? So that had a hefty price tag on it. But he says he has a hard time selling some of these sometimes too. So
I would. That sounds absolutely dumb.
yeah, so I was like, I don't know how to like help you. And he says like that, like he doesn't make any money off even the admission for the races. So I'm just like, so I'm trying to figure out like what's the business model here. And so it was a little bit confusing. So that's kind of what I wanted to try to wrap my head around on the call with him today. Like, is there opportunity to even make more money?
So I'm going to tell you something, and this is I feel comfortable sharing with you because of your experience running paid ads and like just business, right? You're a little bit well versed than somebody else that's coming in who's never ran an ad. And so what I do is I typically tell everybody like, yo, I don't care, sell them, sell them, sell them. And the reason for this is because like some of the things you had, which is like imposter syndrome, and like I'm glad they didn't pick up because now I don't have to deal with it. And so people try to give themselves an out, and so I'm like, no, sell. In your particular case, man, like I would say us having this conversation, like ads probably don't make sense. And
Yeah.
so if it's just going to be a huge waste of, because all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get you to put in the reps and practice. And so if like this would just be stupid, like practicing like this it would just be dumb because you can't really help trying to sell them. You wouldn't get value. You wouldn't learn anything from it, I don't think. So if you want to pass this one along, I think it's okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's helpful. Yeah, because I was just kind of like, do I want to really close this and then refund this guy his cash back? So no, okay, that's super helpful. What else did I have here? Sorry, just give me one sec. I should have been looking at this, but I was like focused on what you guys are saying. So the profit share when closing. Oh yeah, so the price value. You kind of answered that already, so that's good. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty much it. Hey, yeah, it's just I guess the thing that kind of Daniel said there too. It's like I have all these sales calls booked. I kind of feel bad just not doing anything with it. But you're saying that that's going to be way too much, hey? Like in terms of the workload.
In terms of like taking anybody on is too much. Yeah, dude, it's way too much. Because like after doing this as long as I have, like we've spoiled people. And I say this not trying to take anything away, but like you guys have access to like the funnel, the ads, everything. You don't have to think about anything. You just launch it. And so what I've noticed over and over again is when we get to this stage right here, when we get to this stage of like building out your funnel and writing your copy and building your offer, like this shit takes time.
Yeah, and I imagine I'm like, and I was thinking about that too. I'm like, man, like we're only charging $2,000 for this. This is a lot of work, and I haven't even done it yet.
And so like I'm looking at Ethan, for example, and Ethan's like, he's cruise control in terms of like building out the funnel and closing a deal through the 6 figures in 6 weeks, right? And now, I'm kind of just skimming through this, but like dude's like banging his head. He's like really like having not an easy time where he's kind of saying, dude, I got another fake lead. And just like his language, and I love Ethan. I love him to death, but like he's just super frustrated, but he's not getting like actual opt-ins. And what does this mean? He means he has to freaking go back and film new ads and new offers and all that stuff. And so he put in some work and it didn't work. And now we have to do it again. And like imagine you being frustrated. And like also Daniel's not here on our call today. But like hopefully you've kind of picked up on what me and Riviera are doing. We're doing iteration after iteration, week after week. So he's probably on like week 4 of trying to make this funnel work for dentists. And so if you pick a niche like that, like shit, like that's costing, that's painful. You might have a case like Adam and Tony where they hit it out the park. Whatever as they launch, it just worked. Sometimes I see that. I want to prepare you guys for the worst. I want to prepare you for this stuff. And so if you have to deal with this, like the last thing you want to do is help this woodworking guy out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to be stressed out.
Yeah, that's what I kind of was thinking. Okay. And that really helps kind of clear that up. Because I was wondering like, okay, how do we balance, fulfilling our services for these clients while also building out our niche funnel. And then on top of that, my current clients for my work already. Right. So
too much work, dude. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Your ambition, and not even the word isn't ambition, but like your desire to help this guy out, dude, like honestly, it's admirable. And I think that's really cool about you, but it's gonna hurt you and him in the long run, I think.
Okay. Well, yeah, that helps that. So okay, so I'm going to still take these sales calls, right? These ones coming up, get my reps in, but just don't plan on actually fulfilling anything unless something like maybe like we have, it's called Alair Homes, you know, and I'm thinking that could be a niche that I get into. I'm already working with a home builder, you know, currently doing social media stuff. And then, like I said, my mom and sister and brother-in-law are and already in real estate. So that might be something I look at. But one thing that scares me about that is the special category, the special ad category for Facebook and Instagram, and like the limitations with the targeting. I don't know.
So really quick before we hop into that, just one thing I want to mention, just because it's important, just to make sure that you're of the right mindset. Is remember, so you book, you know, your sales calls, and then one of two things going to happen. You're going to close a deal in a niche that isn't scalable, or that you can't, or you don't want to do. Like I look at that woodworking guy, and like I don't know, like he sounds like a cool dude, and maybe you can help him, but like I don't know how scalable that is. Like I don't know how many woodworking company guys there are. Is this something that can be scaled to 7 figures? I don't know that it is. And so one thing is like, so this is like the bad category, which is like, either I don't want to help them or I can't scale. And so if somebody falls into this category, well, then you have one of two options. You can basically refund them, or you can just like for shits and giggles, like go and just like try to figure out how to help them. And so the reason I bring this up is the other thing that can happen is of these other 7 sales calls that you have, you can close a deal within an industry that you actually want to work in.
Mhm.
So for example, like Daniel, he might say after he does the niche homework, he might be like, shit, like I closed this Pilates chick, and like Pilates is something that can be scaled to 7 figures. I actually want to serve this. So he would go down this path. So essentially what I'm saying is like take all the calls, get the reps in. Yes, for the reps, but then two, also, you never know what might happen with any one of these niches. It might be like the niche that you go down into. So keep an open mind about that.
Yeah. I guess I'm having a hard time knowing, and I haven't seen that video that you told Daniel to watch yet either. So I'll have to watch that. But it's like trying to understand how to pick that niche.
That that video comes after you close. So it's
Okay.
it's by design, not for you to watch right now.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's probably pretty good for now. I think I'll have more questions after. Like I'll watch that video, and there's still some other stuff I got to do. So
How are you feeling overall? Again, I kind of asked Michael. I like to check in with you guys around this time because I know things are a little bit crazy with tons of leads coming in. But like overall, I guess like just how are you feeling? How's your mental health doing? You staying focused, stressed out? I know you just had the kid. Like, how are you doing overall?
yeah, so I can actually relate to Camilo there. I got just a brand new little baby girl. She's a month old, and my little boy he's turning 2, so the ages are almost the same as well. And then I have a 11-year-old boy. He's not mine, but you know, pretty much my boy too. So there's 3 of us, and the wife too. She's like, you know, busy with the kids, and it's like it's a lot in the house. So it's kind of like I'm hoping to kind of take over the paying the bills and stuff so she can help with the kids. So it's a similar situation. So it's stressful in that sense, but honestly, like just seeing the ads and how cheap it was for Facebook, like I was getting, you know, leads and email information for $5 a head, which is just crazy. So that's like that's super exciting to see. And I was like, damn, like if this is the niche, right? Like imagine how scalable that is. So that was like really eye opening. I was like, what, like, because I've ran ads before, but none like that, like none that good, right? And so I gotta say that's pretty sweet. And so that already gave me a lot of confidence. Like when I'm hopping on these calls, you know, it's like the confidence is already there because you're showing it already in the ad itself that brought them there. So when they have any kind of hesitation, well, hey, how did you like find me, or why are we on this phone call? Right? Like you kind of fell into the trap. That's how it works. So they're already kind of bought. So yeah, no. So I am feeling really good about that, but it's like I still know that there's like a lot of work, and so I mean, obviously growing pains and stuff, but yeah, I'm super excited to get my niche going, so then I can really like put money in the account, right? So yeah.
This is and Michael, I had kind of said this to you earlier, and hopefully you kind of see it coming to full circle. Like this is as worse as it gets. Like the worst problem you have is where Kyle is, which is like $5 leads, and you're just like he has like 7 calls booked, and he's gonna close 1 or 2, 3 of them, and you know that becomes the worst life ever gets. And for me, it's like, and you're laughing, Kyle, but like that's it. Like that's the worst life ever gets. The problem with that though is, you know, the fact that again you're reinventing the wheel every single time you get a brand new client, you're figuring out ads and funnels for them, and ultimately, you know, the average person would be happy with this but they wouldn't realize until 2, 3 years in that this is why they're stuck at 6 figures or multiple 6 figures and they can't crack 7 figures, is because they haven't niched down. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to save you guys and say, hey, look, I know this is great, but work a little bit harder and niche down and apply the same principles. So yeah, man, there's a lot of work to do. But hopefully kind of like now, like this is the worst life gets. It's kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You know how like you can't make less than a certain amount of money. This is
Yeah.
it. Right.
Yeah,
So
that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
but keep it up, dude. Like keep up the good work. You're at a good pace, man. You're moving along. Keep crushing it. And I'm guessing sometime this week I'll hear that close from you and we'll take it from there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and thanks to you guys too. You guys are always very responsive, and it's night and day having this kind of support while going through this. Like I couldn't imagine doing this without, you guys. So kudos.
Welcome, man. Welcome. It's our job. But you guys are doing the grunt work and dealing with the imposter syndrome, and I'm so glad they didn't pick up because now you guys are the one with all the pressure. So, but I'm gonna keep going, man. If you have more questions, man, we'll circle back to you. Okay?
Yeah, that's good. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Hey, Coach, guys, I want to say sorry for getting off early. My lost signal there.
I had this urge to just like flick you off and be like, peace. I don't know why.
But anyway, yeah, I was just lost my signal there. But earlier on the call, or one or two people before me, you said you wanted to get an answer from me, so I just want to make sure I answered all your questions you have for me.
What were we talking about exactly? I remember we were talking about something, and then that's when the internet.
I was saying like how I was talking about fumbling this onboarding, and like how it didn't go as perfectly as I wanted it to. And you were saying like this is the point is to fumble right now, and that was it.
You don't fumble later on. And then we were talking about something. I forget. Do you remember what we were talking about after that, by any chance?
I talked about niching down and like throwing like doing many niches or like many ads for different niches to see like which niche is buying. And you said don't do that. And then I talked about current opportunities, like what do I do with those? And it was basically, yeah, don't follow up with those.
So when I say new opportunities, like do you have more sales calls that you haven't taken yet? Yeah, that's what it was. You said you had more sales calls that you haven't taken yet. What are those niches?
Well, there was no sales calls. Like I did all the sales calls. I just kind of stopped. I turned off my ads and I just kind of stopped it at that. I didn't follow up with any opt-ins or applications. But there was, or maybe I did. There was one application. She was a caterer and events.
Okay.
Business, and she did like 25 grand. I think 25,000 a month was her revenue.
Oh.
And I thought that was interesting, or like maybe there was an opportunity there. But she actually applied. I did the whole DM thing. She didn't respond to that, and then I actually called and texted her, and she hasn't responded. So I guess she's not that interested.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm not. I feel like I know that there was something that was important that I wanted to get across to you when that internet stuff was happening. So maybe I'll remember and I'll say that to you. But for now, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You were saying like how people tend to like take off the brake, let off the gas for a couple of days, but now's the time to hammer on. And then I was saying like, yeah, I did. I was distracted last week for family stuff. But anyway, I think that's around the time like my internet cut off.
Okay. So yeah, main thing is like, so in terms of like what do you do now, right? What the question becomes, what do you do now? So here's what I would recommend doing. I would recommend this. I would recommend, if you can, carve out one day where you just go ham, dude. If possible, to watch content. And it would be to watch that video, which is watch this after closing your first sales call. That's a video. It's about 20, 30 minutes long. That'll take you to another video, which is about 2.5 hours long. And then from there, there's another video that's 30 minutes long. So you got about 3.5 hours of content to watch.
Okay.
And so 2x speed, man. Try to get through as fast as you can. And once you've done that, once you've done the homework, I will basically know, because you'll reach out to me and you'll basically say, hey, Kushi, these are my niches that I'm interested in. Here's why. And so try to get that done within like the next 2 days. So by like Wednesday at the latest, if possible.
Okay.
This way, by the end of this week at the latest, you have an idea of like what niche you're going after. And then we can start building that stuff out next week. That's what I would be doing. And so by next week, it's like so by the end of this week, you already know what niche you're doing. By the end of next week, you've done research, right? Whether it's a chiropractor or dentist, you've reached out to them, had a conversation with them, interviewed them, have all the information you need for us to go out there and film ads and build out a funnel for you. That's by the end of next week. And then by the week after that, it's you're shooting that content, building the funnel out, launching your ads. So that's kind of like what the next 3 weeks can look like for you.
Okay, but then in the meantime, like also you said 80-20 as far as like my niche and my new client. So like I just don't want to like ignore this new client and you know like I said, make her have buyer's remorse, or I don't think I want to refund her. Like I you know my situation coming in, so I'm just like I'm definitely ready for a paycheck.
Here's
So
why we'll tell you 80-20. And so message me me, and there's a video I ask people to watch after they close their first deal.
okay.
And I'm sorry, this specific video is like how to get results for your clients. Okay. And so that's a full-time thing, man. It's a full-time. So you have like 2 full-time jobs, right? Remember what I said is I said like, hey, when you're handling all these leads, it gets fucking loud as hell. But then afterwards, it's kind of like silent a little bit. It gets quieter, right? And so it's quieter in terms of like you not having to deal with leads, but it's still loud as fuck, as in you have a lot of work to do.
Yep.
And so one of the things that you have to do is like all the stuff I'm suggesting, watch this video, do this in order to figure out your niche and, do the research. Like that's a full-time thing. But then the other part of it is like some is like trying to service your client. And so some people, I tell them I'm like, yo, dude, like I know you got paid 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is. Like if you do that, you get paid for a month. You get to eat for a month. If you don't do this, you don't get to eat for the rest of your life. So you can do this and eat for a month, or you can do this and eat for the rest of your life. Which one's more important? Eating for the rest of your life. That's why I would say 80-20. So I know your mindset of like, hey, Kushi, this is important. Here's what I will tell you from my experience. Every time people do the homework that I'm suggesting you do, they come back to me and they say, fuck you, fuck the client. I know it sounds crazy every single time. And I'll let you kind of experience that for yourself. And what I mean by that is like, you're not going to come back and be like, Koshik, I'm going to drop the client. But what you're going to, your anxiety and calmness is going to be like this. You're going to come down because you're going to see the big picture. When you watch this content, you're going to see the big picture. I promise you. Just watch the content, follow the direction, then you'll see a big picture. And do what you can. Do the best that you can with her. And we'll be here to support you, but don't stress out over it. Just do the best you can. Don't stress out over it.
All right. Well, I mean, I got plenty of time, like as far as like this is all I'm doing.
Okay, good.
So like I'm definitely in it. So I'll
One
try
of
my damnedest.
one of two things are going to happen, Daniel. Here's what's going to happen. Like you're here, right? Can you see my screen? You guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
You're here. You have one of 2 paths. One path is Pilates, and then one path is another niche, different niche. That's it. Like after you do the homework, you're going to either say, I want to go all in on Pilates, or you're going to say, hey, look, there's another niche I want to do. And so if you go all in on Pilates, well, then boom, that's great news, because we're just going to focus on getting her amazing results, right? We're going to go all in on getting her amazing results. And we're going to build out your funnel, which again, it's the same niche. Or what's going to happen is you're here and you're going to say Pilates is cool, but like, I want to do this other niche. And so what's going to happen is we're going to spend most of our time and energy here. And we're going to spend the bare minimum here so that you don't have to give her. Honestly, I'm just giving the reality. The reality is do a good enough job that she doesn't ask you for a refund. That is it. Just not get a refund. That's it. And even then, like that's like a stretch, because this is so much more important.
Okay.
Because there's so much money to be made here.
And then my last question, I think you just answered it though, but like I didn't know if like a niche is like specifically Pilates gyms or just gyms in general, or does that include yogas and Pilates? Because like I don't know if are they applicable to each other, or
I don't think that Pilates is the same thing as gyms. I don't think Pilates is the same as personal trainers. I think it would be different.
Okay.
Again, that's where the market research comes in. Again, you'll do that in the next phase. After you watch the videos, if Pilates is something that you're interested in, there will be things that you can search and do to help you answer that question yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That clears it up.
Yeah. Do you feel
Yep.
like do you feel like you know what you need to focus on right now?
Yes. Yeah.
So just a lot of homework, man. And I know it's a little bit tough doing double time with all this content, but that's kind of the game plan, man, for the next 3 weeks, pretty much what I just outlined with you. Pick the niche
All
by
right.
this. By next week, we're doing market research. By the third week, you've got your ads, funnel, everything launched, and we're hopefully starting to book calls with your desired niche.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, if you need anything, let us know. I know, again, you had some more technical questions. Mason's, hopefully Mason can help you out with that if you have some more tech questions.
He answered a few of them. I'll go back to this and watch it. But I'm gonna be turning off my camera here because I gotta help wifey get ready for work.
Okay.
I'll be coming back afterwards.
Sounds good. Cool.
All right. See you.
Who do we have next? I guess pretty much just Jorge. Before I get into Jorge, both Michael and Camilo, are there questions? This next part of the conversation, I think would be really cool for everybody because we're gonna go pretty deep with Jorge, and he's, I don't know if I ever told everybody this, but like Jorge had a conversation with an agency owner that's doing about 300,000 with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Jorge just had a conversation. So now we're gonna talk about that and uncover a lot of information regarding his experience. So I think that'll be really cool for everybody. But before we hop into that, Michael, Camilo, I guess, do you guys have questions? Anything at all we can chop it up about before we hop into that?
I had a quick question about what you were just talking with Daniel about that video he needs to watch. Is that something that you will make it public once we get there, or it's already in the course?
Yeah, it's after. It's after you.
Okay.
It's not right now. It's after. Remember, I spoke to you on
Yeah.
there's a room full of people doing X amount of revenue, and it's about 7 figures, but you only watch that video after you close. That's that
Yeah.
video.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've got just one question. It's just a bit of clarity on my next steps. I mean, I've been following along after my onboarding the important videos, and it's the Loom link of watch this after your onboarding. And then obviously directs me to the Cinema Marketing Cheat Code week 3, which I've been making my way. And then as I'm setting up like my Go High level, there's obviously here are the scripts that you've got to set up, and
Right.
I've just got my lines crossed where I'm setting up the scripts to eventually shoot. I've downloaded the Go High level templates, and obviously I've some of the direction is there's no need to shoot. So do I shoot? Do I not shoot?
Good. Thank you for reminding me. Glad we brought this up. So basically you have access to a Photoshop file for the ad. Okay. So you'll go in there and you'll just tweak that up for whether you want to target all of Australia, Perth, whatever you want to target, you can go and do that. When it comes to the opt-in page, this funnel isn't showing it, but above at the top, it says like attention business owners in this location. So what you'll do is you'll change this up. So you'll go in, you'll just put in the location that you're interested in. When it comes down here, instead of saying based in Ohio, you'll put in your location.
So you're
Everything
not
else.
sharing a screen right now?
I'm not.
No, it just went away.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Can you
seeing it on
see
my
the
end
screen?
here.
I can see it.
Oh,
I would.
I cannot.
Are you on a
I can
double
just
screen?
see. I am on a double screen, but so you were sharing your screen and it was all in one window, but
I'll
just went
stop.
away from me.
I'll stop sharing and then I'll reshare it again. So I stop sharing it now, and then now I'm going to share it again. Now it's sharing.
Okay,
again.
yeah, it's back. I can see it now.
So, what was the last thing you saw me show you?
Essentially, this screen.
Okay.
It just
So
went away to all of us participants, but yeah.
perfect. So yeah, up top, you're just going to switch in, put in your location. You're going to put in your location here where it says Ohio. You're going to put in your location. You're not going to touch anything else. Everything else stays the same. So again, add, you customize and tweak, opt-in page. That's it. Application page, you're not doing anything with it. And then the thank you page, all you're doing is you're hyperlinking your Instagram. That's it.
Okay. FYI though, because when I brought in the templates to my Go High level, and as I was following along the videos, I think Mason, you're doing the high level ones. The forms I had to do because the forms weren't in the template and it's even the application questions and stuff. So I've ended up doing those.
He does it. We did it that way by design so that you guys learn it. And again, you've got a little bit
Okay.
more, but that's yeah.
Okay. So if I can just test then in my opt-in page, if I just go to view page, yeah, the video's there. Okay, your video. And then the funnel that I mean, not the funnel, the form that I created. Okay, now that makes sense because the template does have your videos.
Yep. So
Cool.
the idea is for you to launch this, and then this way, again, you guys can just get the leads as soon as possible, close as soon as possible, so that we can focus on the more important stuff down the road, ideally within like 3
Okay.
weeks.
Okay.
Questions?
Solid. No, solid copy. Got it. It's clear. Oh, okay. So it is clearer now. So then my next question leading off to this would be then I guess it still does interest me in reviewing the videos in the correct order, like the scripts and stuff, I guess, for maybe double time or double speed, just for my situational awareness, but still proceed with the funnel and launch the funnel with the ads the way they are
I would
without
say
having to shoot the videos.
yeah, like when it comes to these videos, like create your opt-in page video, and like, yeah, you're not right creating the scripts, you're not filming, but like I would say it's important that you watch these videos just so you understand, like, okay, why does the script even work? How did Koshik even come up with this? You know, maybe watching their others so you can kind of like learn why it is working.
Okay.
So like if it requires you to film and edit anything, you don't need to do it. And it's really just important that you just understand so that, you know, when it's time for you to create your own funnel, you understand the psychology of like, okay, here's why this one funnel worked. Let me apply that to my funnel when I create it.
Okay. Solid copy on that.
What else you got for us, Michael?
No, that's it. That's because that's where I'm at now. I'm at the video that says how to create and inject forms into your funnel.
Okay.
So I'm just right there now, making my way down.
Perfect. And if you have issues, let us know. I know, you know, with Go High Level, they're always changing up their stuff. So, you know, oftentimes what we're doing is we're hopping on Zoom calls with you guys to make sure everything's good. But obviously you got a little bit more experience when it comes to this stuff. So, you know, if you need us, let us know. Don't be shy.
Okay, cool.
Camilo, anything else, man? You sure? Okay. How are you guys doing? Michael, Camilo, how are you guys doing for your first call? You guys are 2 hours in. Have we scared you guys yet? Are you guys hanging in there?
Nah, man.
I mean, there's a lot of
Good.
information, but I mean, everything's laid out in a, you know, step-by-step kind of process, and you see how you're making it super easy for us to follow those instructions. There's a lot of things that you've said to it, like, hey, like you told Danny, hey, don't worry about that. Just do whatever you have to do next. Like, don't worry about that. So, because you start thinking about all of these things, and like I've been thinking about like what niche to go into, and that's like way far ahead, you know. So, no,
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
Good.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna head home, but I'm gonna join from my phone so I can listen to your conversation with Jorge.
Sounds good, man. Cool.
All right.
Thank you for letting us know, kind of just like what was brewing in your head. Like this is super important. Like I almost
Yeah,
seriously,
absolutely.
Michael and Camilo, like I treat these like it's almost like a therapy session for you guys.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, a lot of it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
Cool.
Thanks,
Um,
Ashik. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. All right, Mr. Jorge, what's going on, brother, man?
Yo, what's up, Koshik? What's up, guys? How you doing, bro?
Chilling. So, walk me through what's going on, man. In terms of, you know, again, I left you some I responded to you with some things I thought was important. I'll kind of let you carry the conversation, like however you feel is best for me to understand like what happened with Jay.
Yeah, so so with Jay, I didn't get I wasn't able to actually type away like the 5 takeaways. I could do that like after the call today, like so I can go over the call in detail and then we can go deeper. But I got his numbers as far as like what his what his cost per acquisition was and what his cost per lead was, but I didn't get what it should be for my clients.
Okay.
Like I have to go back and like look for it, but we didn't cover that in the conversation. We just covered mainly like clients for me and then what his numbers were. And so,
Yeah. What yeah, let's run through these. So in terms of this what is this cost per lead, cost per discovery call, cost per sales call? And also like what kind of funnel is he been running? Like, is it the same, similar to what we're doing, or is it something different?
Yeah, so when he stopped running it, I think like last year, the beginning of the year, I think. So he ran it for like I believe like half a year or something like that. But he was getting $30 leads, like 20 to $30 leads. And he didn't cover, or I guess I didn't ask him exactly like how much it was per sales call versus discovery call, but his acquisition was $250 to $300
So
per.
what kind of funnel is it though? Is it like an ad to a page where he clicks name, email, phone number to a call? Because a lead for him, like name, email, phone number is a lead is very different than like for us a lead, which is like booking the call. So what do you know what his funnel looked like or no?
Oh yeah, yeah, he did walk me through that. It was pretty similar. It was literally just the ad. The ad goes into a contact page or like the Facebook form, and then from the Facebook form it goes into his landing page.
Wait,
And
so an ad, unless you visually have it, if you visually can just show me, like that would be fine.
then, what up? Yeah, okay, so I got it right here. So yeah, so he's got the
You can share your screen.
okay, cool. You all see it?
If you can enlarge it. Cool. Yeah.
So it's basically him running through it. Let me see if I can move my arrow. So yeah, so it goes from I'll let you run it through.
So ad goes to, does the ad go right to this page?
That goes through, yeah. So he has a Facebook form right here, you see?
Okay, so it's a lead form ad.
Yeah, lead form.
And then from there, he goes to what? He
So
goes,
the
and then walk me through the funnel page. So wait, actually, before we continue, what percentage of people will actually click on that form and actually go to the calendar? Did he tell you? Did you ask him?
that part I don't think so. No.
Okay. Did you get a chance to watch his video or like his photo ad, video ad? Did you get a chance to see it?
Yeah, so it's like super basic. It was just like a testimonial video, like a short 10-15 second testimonial from one of his clients. And then the other two were just images, like a graphic image of saying like martial arts school owners, here's the system, right? Like it had like a lot, what you would think would be a lot of words on it, but he said that's the one I actually converted.
Wow. Okay. So when he says $30 per lead, this is what he's talking about, by the way. He's not talking about the calendar book, I don't think.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Like, that's my theory. Like, do you know for sure or not? Or
So yeah, this is what he's talking about. This is what he's referring to in this video.
so, yeah, this is $30 per lead is for this lead form.
So then I should go back and ask him about his actual calendar, like his
Yeah.
conversion
Because
rate on the page.
what the question becomes, what is the cost per conversion of people that put their name, email, phone number in here? And then the calendar page, what is the cost per people to actually book a call? Those are two different things. One is, those are two different kind of events that you want to track. So when he says a lead, I'm assuming that he means this.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember he was showing me his numbers. So does that not really help the situation as much?
I mean, there's a lot of value here. It's important to just understand like what the numbers are. $30, is that for naming my phone number here, or is that for people going to his calendar page and then booking out a time? Is that $30? Does that make sense?
Oh,
It's important to know that the distinction
that makes
between.
sense. Yeah, I don't have that answer right now.
Okay. Okay, so just kind of running through this, we have the discovery call page. I'm sorry, that calendar page. What goes after that? Can you scrub through the video to show?
Yeah. So it goes into his calendar page.
Okay. And then from there, what's next? Is there like a thank you page?
Yeah, so this is basically his landing page. It goes directly to that. More testimonials. He has like a little like chatbot sample. And then after that, it just pretty much goes into his calendar. I don't think he has a thank you page or anything like that.
So how does he get people on this page?
Through the Facebook form.
So that's another important thing is like it's important to understand and know like what percentage of people are going from that form to this page.
Mhm.
So if I'm you, I'm going to make a note about that, write that down somewhere. If that's a way, if there's a way for you to ask him without him like charging you an arm and a leg for that information, like you need to know that. The reason this is important is because when you do a lead form, Jorge, lead forms are finding people that are not likely to click off of Facebook and go onto a website. That's the whole point of a lead form. Whenever people are running these kinds of forms, lead form ads, it's because those kinds of people don't go off Facebook and actually go into websites.
Mm.
So for example, dentists. This is what me and Daniel found out last week is that when it comes to dentists, you can't drive traffic to like a calendar page. You have to do lead form ads. So this is what we've just uncovered. So this is a massive piece of information that we didn't know before. Now, what is this? What if I, based off what I've just told you, like what does that mean in terms of what you should be doing? Pop quiz. What do you think you should be doing now?
So optimizing for instead of like lead form, somebody attracting leads who actually go to landing pages or calendar pages.
No, keep going. What else? Like, so what is the strategic move that we must make now based off of this pop quiz? What is the strategic move that we must make?
Is it just asking Jay like about his numbers, his conversion rate to see how many of those people he's converting or no?
So yeah, we want to get as much information as we can from him, but like in terms of your funnel, in terms of what we're doing right now, what pivot do we have to make most likely?
Would it be the type of leads that we're attracting or the type of Facebook form?
I think so. I think you're saying I think you're just using different words. So basically what we're doing is we're doing a sales. I think what we're doing is we're doing a lead conversion, a lead event. I'm sorry, we're doing a lead campaign. And what we're doing at the ad set level is we're driving traffic to your calendar page, right?
Mm.
We cannot, what this tells me is that we shouldn't be doing that. Instead, what we should be doing is just doing a lead form where we collect the information right on social media. It's a completely different kind of funnel. It's actually very different than what we have right now.
Oh, okay. So instead of just driving them to the calendar page, just get their information, like try to get them already on Facebook.
That's based off of what I'm seeing. Like if that's what his cost per acquisition was, like that's what we should be doing. So right now, he's saying that it costs $30 to get name, email, phone number, which might mean that what he tried to do is he maybe at one point try to do what we're doing, and maybe it was cost him $100, $150 to get a name, email, phone number, and somebody to book a call. So he's like, fuck that. It's costing me way too much. I'm gonna try a lead form. And then he did a lead form, and now boom, it's working.
Mhm.
So what he's doing most likely he's running these lead form ads. He's collecting name, email, phone number, and I can almost guarantee you he's texting them, he's calling them, he's blowing them the fuck up, and he's trying to get them to basically book on the discovery call. But he's trying to get them to that discovery call page and get them to book out. Either that or what's happening, again, you can tell me, but I can watch it back, but like either that or what's happening is people opt in and then he's using some kind of a bot to have a conversation with them and then getting that bot to get this person booked on this calendar. He's doing one of those two things or a combination of them.
Mhm. I think it'd be the first thing. So he was telling me that he would get them their information, he would get their information, all that stuff, and he would literally just like put them in a follow-up sequence, like in a nurture sequence. And then from there he would just like manual text, call them up until they have the actual call. And then at that point, that's when the call takes place.
Okay. And so that makes sense. So they opt in and then he puts them through a sequence, but when he puts them through a sequence, the purpose of that sequence is to get them to book a call, most likely.
Yeah.
Right. And so after he gets them to book a call, then the call that he gets them to book, is that a discovery call or is that a sales call?
It was more of a discovery call because he said that he had discovery call, I don't think he mentioned like explicitly whether it was a two call close. Was like he went on there and in the call he asked as much questions as he could. So that then he could go into the presentation. So yeah, actually, yeah. So it was discovery call before. So it'd be the same thing that I'm doing, right? Because he would go there, he'd be on the phone with them, and then he would go back and actually present them.
Cool. So all that needs to be done is just that. Like you're basically gonna do what he's doing, but you're gonna instead of using like his photo ad, you're gonna use your video and we're gonna test that out. And we can test out his ads as well, his photo ads, whatever. We can obviously slightly tweak it so that he doesn't get pissed off. We can make it your own. But that's what I'm hearing. And then that should ideally get your cost per acquisition down to, 300 to 500 bucks would be insane. It'd be awesome. That's kind of what I'm hearing. But anyways, that's me just kind of like hypothesizing based off of what you've told me. But like, why don't you fill me in like on terms of the conversation? Anything you just want me to know, just like verbal diarrhea, and we can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's actually I'm glad we're having this conversation because I would have never even thought about that, right? Unless like we actually like spoke it through. But I have to watch it back again because I haven't watched it back since we had it, which was on, I believe, Friday or like Wednesday. It was a week ago. But I gotta watch it back again so that way I can actually uncover more questions and give you more thorough answers. But he basically said that he was just testing out a whole bunch of things. Like he wasn't scared to test out different ads, different images, or creatives. What worked best for him were testimonials. Like any testimonial that he put up, just a short 15-second testimonial of his clients. That was the one that got him the most conversions. And he mentioned that all my systems are good, everything is awesome. But he's like, the only thing that I see you really struggling with is just getting in front of and as many people as you can.
When he
Like,
said that your systems are good, what is he talking? He's talking about your systems for
like
getting your client, getting yourself clients or getting your clients results. Which one of these is he talking about?
getting myself clients. So systems in terms of I showed him like the funnel, I showed him what happens after somebody signs up, like the sequence for nurturing. I showed him like the thank you page videos, thank you page, all that stuff. He's like, bro, this is awesome. Like this should be working. What needs to be changed is like the only thing that you're missing is just getting in front of enough people, but getting in front of the right people.
Okay.
And he mentioned that the ad that I'm running right now, the video ad, would be perfect if we ran as like a retargeting video to basically have that as the content that people watch if they watch a little bit, right? And then just making the first video ad that people watch something shorter, something like 10 to 15 seconds, where it just captures their attention really quickly. And he's like, don't be afraid to get creative with it, like because what he was saying is that in the industry, he's seeing a lot of people do the exact same thing that I'm doing, like similar video style, similar script. Everything is becoming too similar. So he's like, you need to basically use the skills that you have and make it different, make it stand out. And he also mentioned about the targeting because I asked him about targeting. I showed him what I'm doing. He's like, man, you need to be able to kind of not just target people who are interested in jiu-jitsu, like obvious ones like jiu-jitsu, martial arts, right? But also like ask your clients what they're into and just mess around with that targeting, right? So like for example, my client likes Harley Davidsons, right? Just use Harley Davidsons as one and see however many you get from there, right? Because you're getting in I guess a blue ocean of an untapped for jiu-jitsu. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Did he show you by any chance his targeting?
Yeah.
What was he targeting?
So he actually showed me exactly what he was targeting. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, right here. You see it?
Yeah. Gotcha. Damn, that's crazy. So here's all right. Okay. So we can kind of stay on that screen for a little bit. What else did you kind of like take away or learn? Take away, learn, or feel like you want me to know?
That I took away that he had a system for cold calling, right? But I don't, we already established like I don't want to go the cold calling route right now. But that was it was still pretty notable. And then he also mentioned like on a sales call, like not to overcomplicate it, like overstress it, right? It's like can you get these guys results? Can they afford it? And it's like they need you, right? Having that different mentality shift, like they need you. You don't need them because they're coming to you for their solutions, right? So it's really like, can you actually provide it for them? If you can, then it just comes down to can they afford it and do they trust you? Do they believe in you enough to actually give you their money, right? So, and that's like nothing new that's been said. You've been saying the same thing for as long as I can remember. But I think just like having that second, not second opinion, but like him going through everything and just really like, man, like it should work for you, right? You're just missing one thing, which is this. And obviously getting the reps in.
What is your cost as of right now? Like, what's your cost per like book call right now?
I just updated. Let me see if I can
Did you show him this by any chance? Did you show him this or no?
not I showed him this page. I showed him the ads, not this page.
Okay. I think this was important to show him so that he can see like, yo, shit, like I'm at 6% conversion rate.
Hmm.
So, um, so let's see here. So is this up to date or not up to date?
Yeah, this is up to date.
So what week are we in? We're in April 22. Okay. So last week you spent 120 bucks. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
You got 3 people to book a call, 40 bucks to book a call. Like that's fucking good, bro. All 3 of those people, were they all like actual business owners or um was like one a fake lead or what?
Let me check my text. Two of them for sure were business owners. One of them did not respond to me when I texted him.
Okay.
So actually,
I mean, I'm looking at these numbers, man. So 40 bucks. And then how many of those were you able to get for a live? So you got one live discovery call.
mm,
And then, okay, so this is what you were talking about last week where you had that one dude who was able to buy and then he kind of like had cold feet at the very end, right?
yeah, that was that sales call, the book sales call and the live sales call.
So this is all last week that you're talking about 120.95. Okay. Like honestly, bro, like your numbers are good, man. Like they're really good. Um, $120 for a sales call, and if you close it, it's like really good.
Yeah,
Honest.
they've been getting better this past weeks.
Yeah. So, but the part that's not good that scares me is if we look at the 5.95% opt-in conversion rate, that is not good.
Mhm.
But this week, 10% is like okay, actually. So if you have like another week that's like around 10, 15%, I would be like, okay, this maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we can run this funnel to this page. Um, here's what's brewing in my head. What's
Mhm.
brewing in my head is like we need more data and we need data faster. But if you can stick to these numbers, the ones from last week where like it's costing you 40 bucks to book a call, 120 bucks to hop on a sales call, like bro, like those are fantastic. You just do more of them.
Mhm.
And it's really just you closing deals. That's it. That's really all it boils down to. I mean, bro, if you can close deals for 500 bucks of ad spend, like fuck, dude, that's fantastic. There's nothing broken with that. Everything's completely fine.
Got it.
So step one, so how are you doing in terms of time? Like, do you have extra time or no? Because if you have extra time, then I would say we could test out Jay's opinion of like filming another ad, but these numbers tell me that your ad is working just fine.
I mean, what do you mean time? I'm pretty flexible. I can make the time to film it if I need to.
Is this one ad set or 2 ad sets or what?
This is this right here.
Uh,
Just
it's just so let's go into the ad set. Yep. Click on ad set and then 21 link clicks. Can you go back to your Excel sheet? So the link clicks that you're using, you know, it says 29. Where are you getting that number from? So underneath April 15th to the 21st.
From here.
Okay, got it. Good. Okay. So how much are you spending on that ad set again?
$20.
$20 a day? So let's try to do this, man. For me, it's like I'm not seeing anything that's jumping out at me that's broken other than the opt-in page conversion rate. That's it. That's the only thing that I'm looking at. But also, like, it's 5.95% after considering all the other weeks.
Yeah.
Like if I look at like March 15th to 21st, that's a healthy number, 15%. April 15th to 21st, 10%, that's okay. If your opt-in per conversion rate was like around 10 to 15% all the time, I would be like, okay. The fact that it's at 5%, that scares the shit out of me.
Make sure this is still updated. Yeah.
So
Yep.
so what I think we should do is we should try to duplicate the ad set, and let's just have the new ad set run at additional $20 and just hope and pray that nothing breaks. And then if something doesn't break, then maybe what we can do is we can duplicate that ad set one more time. So we have 3 ad sets running at $20 a day each, so $60. And then maybe that gives us a higher volume of calls. And then from there, again, it's just really about you closing deals. And if we're closing deals at $500, like, dude, that's there's nothing wrong. And if we can run this and so maybe we do that for like another week, 2 weeks. And if something breaks, then what I would say is like, then we just run his play. We just do the lead form. We just do whatever the fuck he's doing. We just scrap everything we're doing and we just do whatever he's doing because his shit's working for sure.
Mhm.
What's brewing in your head?
So duplicate the ad set and keep both of them alive for $40 a day in total.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then just run that for like a week or two, see
Yeah.
if it messes up or anything. If it doesn't, then keep running again, duplicate it again, see how we're doing.
So duplicate it once, let it run for like 3 days, and then duplicate that again.
Okay.
Another option is if it breaks, then we kill off those 2 new ad sets. We create another ad set and we just increase the budget on that new ad set and make that like $40. The goal is like, I'm just trying to figure out how can you spend more money faster? That's it.
Yeah.
Without breaking shit. That's
Because
all.
like last time, right, when we jumped from like 20 to 40.
Yeah, it broke shit. I'm just trying to prevent that from happening.
And why do you think that won't happen again this time? You think it's because like we've gotten more data?
I think it could happen. That's the thing. It could always happen. And so it's like, but the thing is like, what can we do right now? Like, if you just logically think about it, like, what are our other options? The only option that we have is sit like a, what is it called? Like a sitting goose or whatever they say.
Yeah.
Just fucking sitting around and doing jack shit. That's our only play. Like right now, we can sit around, do nothing, and we're not spending enough money where you and I are going to learn. Like, it's going to cost us like a fucking month to learn anything.
Mhm.
Right? Like that's all. Like, so if we don't spend money, that's what happens. So the only other option is to potentially risk breaking things and spend more money. And if it breaks, then we restart again. If it breaks, we restart again. And then if it keeps breaking, then we just say fuck it, and then we just go into Jay's shit. That's what's brewing in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. And then so I could start that just immediately, right? Like,
Yep. Yep.
cool. I'll do that then. And then as far as like the
Here's another thing is if, for example, it breaks, here's something you want to write down. Okay. So let's say you duplicate the ad set and for some reason it breaks. Okay. What we can do is we can shut that ad set down, create another ad set, and the new ad set, what we do is we use Jay's targeting.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Boom, there we go. And why? It's because you're technically going after like a different pond, a different fish. And so Facebook might like let both of the ad sets survive because they're in different ponds, different people.
So keep one alive and then duplicate again, but just use the different targeting.
So step one is after this conversation, just duplicate the ad set and just like see what the fuck happens. and then duplicate it again after another 3 days, and hopefully things are good. If after the first duplication and the second duplication, some weird shit happens, then what we're going to do is we're just going to kill off that ad set, whichever one's causing the issues, and we'll duplicate again, but with new targeting, with Jay's targeting.
Mhm.
And so what might happen is you might have your initial ad set with this targeting, and then you have this other ad set which has got different targeting, or you have like your targeting, and then Jay's targeting, right? Some kind of variation of something.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I'm just trying not to break shit. That's it. And get data
Yeah.
fast.
All right, cool, for sure, for sure. So it's a little bit alleviating knowing that this just not like completely fucked up.
It's not like I'm looking at it, bro. Like it's just like, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it like $120 for a sales call is like fucking fantastic. $120 for an acquisition is fantastic. It's insane.
All right, cool, for sure. That would just feel a little better.
Worst case is, again, I'm looking at the numbers from like April 15 and 21st, $120 for a sales call. April 8 to 14, 139. March 15 to 21st, 142. Like, yo, these are fucking good numbers for sales calls, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like $250 is a little bit high, but even that, like I know some people that will pay $300 for a sales call for sure.
Gotcha.
What else do you want to chop it up about that you feel like is important? Just based off of your experience with Jay.
As far as my experience with Jay, it's more just like what information do I use first, right? That was more just my main thing. It's like I got so much that I feel like you would be able to see more things than I would, and just knowing, okay, like scrap that, scrap that. Like, actually, hold on to this. Let's use this first. So just making that kind of assembling the pieces all in order, right? From like all the shit that we got. So just try not to get overwhelmed from it.
Yeah. No, it's just step by step, bro. This is part of the game. It's part of the process. Like what I feel good about is here's what in my head, here's what I know. I know you can't lose because you have Jay shit. I know Jay shit works, right? Like that's the worst. Like if you run the exact same shit as him, then how are you not gonna get the same results? Of course, you got to be good at sales, but that's a different thing.
Mhm.
In terms of the machine, you got the machine. That's all we needed, right? That's the worst. That's if we need to, that's the last hand that we'll play if we need to. But we're not there yet. So right now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna try to make this work first.
Mhm.
And in terms of like your interaction with Jay, I feel like what he's saying has some merit in terms of like trying a shorter video, but like I also like I kind of feel like that's not bullshit, but like I'm not saying it's bullshit. It's just like he's just fucking trying to be useful and throw some shit onto ether, but he has no evidence that that would work.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Like he has no evidence. There's no evidence that that would work. He's just saying some shit to you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like there's no evidence to say like, hey, a 10-second video would work. Why the fuck would it work? Other than like, yo, everything's like saturated and whatever. Like, and the thing is like you didn't show him this page. And I love you, Jorge, but that was like I would say that's the only mistake is not showing him this page.
Mhm.
Because if you had shown him this page, then he might tell you something like, oh shit, this is 6%. Maybe you have to run a lead form ad and not a lead ad.
Mm.
Maybe he would have been able to tell you that, but basically looking at this.
Mhm.
I don't know if maybe you can like screenshot this and send this over and be like, yo, I forgot to share this with you the other day. This is why I was asking you about like our numbers. Like here's, again, if you want to write this one down, and tell him like screenshot this, send this over to him and be like, yo, the reason I want to share this with you is because I'm concerned because I have a 6% opt-in conversion rate. What do you think the issue is? Or do you think this is issue? Do you think that I need to go to lead forms because this is going into a funnel? Maybe Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu business owners are not going into funnels and lead forms are what works for them. So that's what you want to ask him. That's the main thing I'm trying to figure out, by the way. If you show him this page, show him those numbers, maybe he'll tell you.
If they go to lead forms instead of funnels,
Yeah.
yeah, I could do that.
Like, for example, and I hope this is making sense to you, is like dentists, they go to lead forms. You cannot take them to a funnel. That doesn't fucking work. Personal trainers, you cannot take them to personal trainers, you cannot fucking take them to a funnel. Personal trainers, they have to get, they don't, lead forms don't work for them either. For them, they do IGDM ads because that's just how personal trainers are. They like to have a conversation on DMs. So you run an IGDM ad to those people. So it's like different niches work with different things.
Mm.
So, for example, music, videographers like you guys, I don't do lead form ads. It just doesn't work. I have to take you guys to a proper funnel. So it's like every industry has like one type of campaign objective that works, or a few different types that work. That's the main thing I'm trying to get across to you. And so if he looks at your numbers, he might be like, yo, 6%, that tells me that this industry, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu business owners, they don't actually go into forms. I'm sorry, they don't go into funnels. You got to do lead forms with them.
Mm-hmm. Then that would change up our whole funnel then.
That would change up everything. Exactly. That's what me and Riviera are doing right now. We were doing your funnel, and then we realized like, fuck, the numbers are insane. And then what did we do? I don't know if you remember, Jorge. What did we do? We looked at all the ads all these other marketers are running. They're all lead form ads. And so we said, fuck it, we're not going to go to the calendar. We're going to go to lead form. And now Dana's got better numbers. Just like, I'll give you one last example. When I was trying to figure out how to create a funnel for wedding filmmakers, I was driving traffic to a site where people could opt in. I spent $200 and I spent $300. I got like 2 leads. And then I saw what all these other people were doing. These wedding filmmakers were doing. They were all running messenger ads, Facebook Messenger ads. So what did I do? I ran a Facebook Messenger ad. Boom, worked like clockwork. So people that are getting married, they want to have a Facebook Messenger ad because they probably want to go inside, have a conversation with you. Personal trainers, they want to have an IGDM ad. Dentists, they want to have a lead form ad. Videographers, they want to have a funnel that they go into. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. Every niche I've noticed is kind of particular.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
I think it's finally clicking for you, just based off of like, it sounds like that part clicked for you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, why the fuck are we going to try to make a funnel work when like that industry has proven lead forms only work for them? That's what I'm trying to get across to you. And so if you ask Jay that, maybe Jay can give you some evidence or some information. And so what I'm saying is like, if Jay's not here to ask a question, we have no option but to rule out a website first. We have to do everything in our power. And then if the website doesn't work, we just say, fuck it, we're going to run Jay's play now. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm following you.
Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts?
Would it be so all the questions that I didn't get answers from Jay, like just not just the Excel sheets, but the other ones about like the clients, what their CPLs and all their numbers should be like, would it be worth to have another conversation with him or kind of save that for a later time and focus on this first?
Let's just focus on, you do need to have another conversation with him for sure. But I feel like, I mean, this part is like, we got to figure this out first. Yeah, we got to figure this out. I think that's too much on your plate right now. Just figure out this. Let's just figure out this. And for sure, we're going to speak to him about it for sure, but not right
now. Cool. Yeah, that's mainly it. That was the thing with Jay. And then again, I'll go over it more in detail with I'll watch the video back again just so I can go in depth.
If there's one question you can ask Jay,
yeah.
If there's like one thing, it's literally just what I'm explaining to you right now, which is like, do I take these fuckers into lead form or do I go to a website? Like, based on my experience, Jay, some industries, work better with some kinds of campaigns. I'm just wondering, like, am I doing the right thing by taking people to a funnel or should I be doing a lead form like you? That, like, if you can just do that, that'll save us so much time, energy, and headache.
Okay.
So if he's willing to answer that for you, then I would ask that.
Yeah, I think that would be more. Yeah, like if I'll ask him one question, I'll ask him that. I think he'd be more receptive to just if he's gonna give me like a freebie or something, he'll use that, right?
100% worth it for sure. That one. Cool. Anything else for you?
Would it be worth also asking him? I guess it would be another conversation, right? But later on, asking him about that AI chatbot. I messaged Aman already about it, but literally just earlier today, so I haven't gotten a response yet. But my main thing, I'm asking that because I feel like I'm letting a lot of the follow-ups and the speed to lead slip through the cracks. And it's starting to affect the no-shows for downtown, which is like the main one that's like getting the most results. And so I've noticed like one day there was like 4 leads coming in, none of them came in with no-show, right? So that was like also alarming, but also annoying, right? So
So
um,
your question is what exactly? Like, because I don't know how to use the AI chat bot. If is your question like, should I speak to somebody about that? Is that kind of what your question is, or?
yeah, I guess like addressing the no-shows and the follow-up sequences, like how to get a better system for that. Because I feel like I'm like juggling too many people to follow up with, or am I just having to put my boots on the ground at this point and just like say fuck it, just keep doing it all myself?
Um, I mean, if you want to speak with Aman, like by all means, like speak with Aman, or you know what I mean. Like, with Jay, I feel like um, does he use AI?
Yeah,
I feel like I mean, yeah, like we want to have a conversation, but like I don't think it's the best use of your time to like hop on another call with them for just this information.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like you can just like talk to Aman about it, find some time to speak with Aman. Aman's been a little bit, I think, a little bit busy. Did you message? You said you messaged him or you didn't message him yet?
I messaged him today.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, he'll probably get back to you soon.
Mm,
That's what I would do if I were you, is just message Aman and get a quick response from him, and then maybe you'll kind of have to kind of keep the the boots to the ground for the time being. But I would say it's not as big of an issue. I don't think it's a big of an issue right now.
okay,
Like this is much more important, I think.
for sure. That's it, honestly. That and following up with that guy with the, I never actually explained to you what happened with the guy that was posted by, but then back at like super last second.
Can you give me just a second really quick, Jorge? Just 1 second. And I want to. Sorry about that, Jorge. What were you saying, man?
I was gonna explain to you about the situation that happened with that last guy. I never actually explained to you what happened. With the guy that was gonna sign up but ended up backing out last second.
No.
So with him, it was he went through the process like normal, and then he was pretty receptive throughout the whole time. Even like before we got into the discovery call, we got a discovery call and it went pretty smooth. He was like off the bat, he told me he was already working with a marketing agency, but that his uh his current agency wasn't getting him the results that he wanted or that they promised him. So he's like, I'm looking for other places. And so He's like, at the end of the day, this is like all that matters to me is whether like the input versus output, excuse me, like whether like how much I'm putting in is making me more or at least breaking even than what I'm gonna get out of it. I was like, okay, cool, for sure. Then we had a conversation from the discovery call, went smooth. We went over to the sales call, and then it was a two-part sales call because he had to run. So the first part, I just ran him through the whole system, everything, uh, discovery questions, qualifying questions, and then he was telling me he's like really emphasizing the point of, okay, like, is my system actually gonna get results, right? Am I gonna get, if he's putting $1 in with me, is he gonna get $2 or $3 back, right? And so we scheduled the second sales call. And in that sales call, we talked about all the numbers. He sent me that like personality test to take. And he was like, at first we matched up on like the personality fit.
He sent you a test for your personality?
He sent me like a Tony Robbins personality test.
Why? That is the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life.
That's what I thought too. And I was like, I was interested in taking it. That's why I said, fuck it, I'll take it. But I asked him like, well, okay, yeah, wow, do you send this to everybody? He's like, yeah, I found that every person that I work with or have a business relationship with, the ones that I never worked out with were the ones who I had super close personality traits with, like the same dominant personality trait.
Interesting.
I was like, okay, I guess, if that's your experience and, fuck it, I'll buy it, I take it. And turns out we had a lot of the same similar traits, right? It's like most of the entrepreneurs, they all have like, the dominant, like wanting to take charge of their own life and shit like that, right? So like you can get what I'm trying to get at. And then he was saying, he's like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes a lot of these people just don't go hand in hand. So you need to have somebody who contradicts you and like contrasts you. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, I don't agree with you, but yeah, these are my results. So it is what it is. He's like, oh, well, let's go ahead and, still show me what you got. And then if it makes sense, let's move forward. I was like, all right, cool. So then I went through all the numbers with him and I thought I was going pretty smooth at first because that diagram that I was using definitely helped me out. But then when he started to crunch the numbers exactly of like, if I promised him at least 10 students and then the refund part, right? He asked me about what happens if I don't get him the guarantee. He still has to pay for the ad spend, so he's still going to be in the negative. So that kind of got me out of my flow and that kind of threw a curveball at me. So then from there, we started just like working out a plan together on how we could make it work. And then that's when we agreed on like the 750 for the paid trial. So he's like, at least at this rate, I'll be completely broken even. And then you can fulfill your promise. And then for me, I pay you, and then we'll both be good. And I was okay, cool, that makes sense. I just wanted to get the sale. And at the end of the call, like everything was pointing towards okay, yeah, let's do it. I should have just had him do it on the call, like on the spot. But he's like, oh, I gotta go. Like he couldn't pay for it on the spot, right? I had the payment link pulled up and everything. And right when I was about to get to it, I was like, okay, cool. So we're booking the onboarding meeting. We booked that out. The next steps are just get the calendar, I mean, get the payment links all sorted out. He's like, cool, man. Well, I actually have to like run like right this second. He had something going on because we were like cutting it close because we went a little bit over time. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just send you everything else. And then he was sending me pictures about his studio, all that stuff. And everything was good. And then when I sent him the link, I followed up with him that next day in the morning. He sent me, he's like, hey, I'm gonna have to wait on this because one of my general contractors is putting a lien on my place because of his subcontractors not getting paid out. And I was like, cool, man, no worries. I understand shit happens, but just text you back this week so we can get it moving forward again. And he just never responded.
So what do you think actually happened and why? What do you think actually happened? Why do you think it happened? What do you think could have been
Yeah.
done?
Well, I think initially like he was like saying, fuck it, yeah. And then he was thinking about it more. And then he's like, you know what? No, I probably shouldn't do it because one, his current agency was starting to turn around and actually start to get him more results. And then two, because I think that just that whole interaction of like going back and forth with him on like the guarantee and like not knowing whether I can actually get him the 10 students that I promised at least, and that kind of going downhill. I think all of that just left him a bad taste, and he kind of got like not even buyer's remorse almost without having bought anything.
Yeah.
I think last second he's like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna call it.
So you think that what happened is you think that part of it is the fact that he started getting better results for his other agency?
Part of it, yeah.
What makes you say that?
Only because he mentioned to me, in one of the sales call, he mentioned to me, he's like, so the reason we got on this call was because I was trying to get more results, and my current agency wasn't getting me results, but now they're actually starting to get me more. Just this week, we started to get way more leads come in, and that's why I was thinking, okay, so that probably has something to do with it, maybe, but I just thought it was like worth noting.
Yeah. And the last thing is just like, hey, maybe he doesn't fully like buy in and like trust that I can help him. So here's an important lesson for you and everybody else that's listening right now is you pretty much never want to sell to somebody that already has a marketing agency because of stuff like this. Like there are a few, it's like you might look at it and be like, oh no, they'll buy from me. They're unhappy with their existing marketing person. But I don't know if you guys have ever like bought something you have to double buy and it pisses you off. Like for example, like let's say you get Adobe Premiere. I don't know, just give an example, right? $50 a month. And then you're like, fuck, I actually need Final Cut. And they're offering me a discount, but you're gonna be so pissed off trying to buy that Final Cut. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like you don't want to double spend. And so sometimes people think of it as like a relationship, which is like, oh, she's unhappy with her relationship with him, and so therefore she's going to come with me. It doesn't work that way. The agency game doesn't work that way, where like she'll dump her boyfriend or her husband and come with you. It doesn't work that way. It's more like the premier example of like people just not wanting to spend money. So that's the first thing I understand. So whenever you have a conversation with somebody that's already got an agency, they have to be through with the agency. And so I'm not sure. Can you let me share my screen really quick, Jorge? And Camille, I saw your question. I'll answer that once I help Jorge out. Um, um, bless you. So the way you really want to like have a client tell you like what is the exact thing that they're doing, the ad, then the funnel, then the sequence. Whenever people have worked with, here's the important thing to understand. So whenever somebody has worked with an agency in the past, so first of all, if they are currently running with the agency, you have like it's probably not going to work, especially like that kind of language, like, oh, it just started working. I just got a bunch of leads. Like it has to be a point where it's like, yo, fuck these guys, are scams, and I'm gonna sue them. Like if there's not like that level of anger, you're not going to sell them most likely. So that's the good news, Jorge, that you are fighting an uphill battle that's very hard to win. Don't get down on yourself. Like it is very difficult to win those kind of things. So you just like giving me that context, like this is me just telling you, like, bro, like you bought like it was like you're playing the game on like fucking extra hard mode and you had no idea. And so it's okay. Like what happened is okay. Like you should expect that. I would be surprised if you close that deal, honestly. And so that's step one is like just don't sell to those kinds of people or like and get them so pissed off that they're like that. Two is the people that have already worked with an agency in the past, what you do is you run through this whole thing with them and you go through the entire machine. And then what you have to do is you have to have a light bulb moment where you show them, hey, this is the issue. Here's the exact issue, and here's why that was the issue. And they have to be so sold and so bought in to what you're saying. So for example, Camille, he's listening right now. He bought all these courses from all these people. Like he's from, I think Jorge, you're from, you're not from the Real Deal Video Strategy. Are you from the Real Deal Video Strategy? Did you purchase that? No, you didn't. Oh, okay. So he's from like all these other courses, all these other programs, and he kept having clients like he kept losing clients due to like people saying, oh, you can't consistently guarantee my results. Oh, actually, Daniel Rivera, you're from the Real Deal. So he's from that community, same community as you. And so he would close these deals, retainers, and then the business owners would fire him sooner or later. And so I was able to help him like realize here is the mistake, here's the issue. And he's bought in. He's fully bought in. He realizes that. Then and only then does our offer make sense for him. So I hope that like the logic makes sense. What I'm trying to explain to you, Jorge, and everybody else is like, you have to figure out what somebody did and then help them see what the bottleneck was first. And they have to have a light bulb moment like, oh shit, this is why. I had another girl, her name's Heather. She hopped inside of our program and she was selling low ticket to medium ticket or to high ticket. And like her ads just weren't working or some shit. Like, I don't know exactly what she was doing, but like I had a conversation with her and I was like, yeah, this, and she literally paid somebody 26 grand. It's crazy. And I helped her see like, okay, the issue that you have is you're just simply not charging high enough. Your ads are working. Everything's working just fine. It's just, you're not charging high enough. Your LTV is not high enough. It's a unit economics problem. Then she's like, oh shit, aha moment. Now it makes sense to work together. So that's the missing piece for you, Jorge. Whenever you have a conversation with somebody, it's like a score and X. It's a score and X. It's a score and relationship. You must go in there and you must help them heal. Maybe even not heal, but you must help them at least see what the fucking issue was. Where was the issue in this funnel? Boom, you identify. I'm sorry?
I said I have a question on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I know exactly where it's at?
That's you being a good business owner. So the way that you know is by having experience. So if you're like, for example, for me, I'm looking at his funnel. Let's say his do you know what he was running or no? Like, do you know what the marketing agency was doing for him or no?
Yeah, it was like similar. It was like a 4-week paid trial, and then they go to the class. It's literally just that, just like a 4-week paid trial.
Okay. So look, so if I'm looking at this kind of funnel, if I'm looking at this kind of thing, so it's an ad, and then actually let me just redraw this. It's an ad, it's a lead form ad, and then from there, let's say it's a calendar to get something booked, and then it's a trial, and then a sales call. And so what is he telling you the issue is? Is he telling you that the issue is like, yo, I can't get to people to close? Because that's the issue that you told me, Jorge. You told me like, yo, I'm getting people all the way from the ad. I'm getting here. I'm getting them here. I'm getting them, but I can't see them to close. My close is 10%. So I know that the issue is here because again, I have experience with business. I just common sense. I know. For you, if he's telling you like, yo, I can't even fucking get leads, then the issue is not getting people booked into the calendar. The issue is not the free training class. The issue is not sales. The issue is way back here. And so you need to like draw out this diagram and explain to him like, hey, here's how the machine works. Your bottleneck is right here. And then the question becomes like, why is the ad not working? Is it just the cost per lead is too high? Is it nobody is booking? Is it because it's a dense location with a lot of jujitsu business owners, so they're all competing for the leads? Because I've seen that. So it's a location, a lot of business owners, they're all competing for the lead, so the cost per lead is through the roof. Is that the issue? Is it the location? Is it the fact that the targeting is off? Is it the fact that the offer is off? You have to ask questions to figure that out. So that's really just you getting good at business, bro. To answer that question, it's just you getting good at business, understand the game. But that's what I would do. I was asked those questions. If I was in your shoes, I would be asked those questions, and then I would help him see the light. I'd be like, okay, this is what the issue is, bro. And then I'm not going to move on. Here's the key. I'm not going to move on the sales conversation until I see the light bulb go off and I see the anime eyes. You're like, oh shit, thank you so much. I've been crippled by this for the last 6 months. Thank you so much for giving me this relief. Then I can go on and sell. So yeah, man, those are a few things I can share with you. I think I can sit there and I can talk about all this stuff. Could your could your nurture process, sales process be better? Could you have, done different things? Sure. But like honestly, you're fighting like a hard battle from the get-go. It's hard to win that anyways. So like don't be upset at yourself, pat yourself on the back. That was a tough battle, bro. It's okay. Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts for him?
No, I mean, it's just like you said, it's good to know that because otherwise I wouldn't have known. I would have been like, man, I gotta fucking do something better. But that's good to know, yeah, because that was one of my questions that I had meaning to ask you for a while. Like, I know that you mentioned to do that with the if they're already running with an agency, because it's like the second or third time that I've come across this. and you mentioned, okay, like you just gotta let them know, hey, this is where they're fucking up. But I'm like, I don't even know where they're fucking up. I can't let them know.
It's left to right. That's the main thing to take away. It's a funnel from left to right. And here's a other thing to understand. It's like an ad, whatever funnel. And then the question becomes, where's the opt-in application? Thank you. And then we go to like discovery call and then the sales call. But the thing is like, and then onboarding and then like repayment. Like everything in life is like business is just from left to right. That's all it is. You just keep going right. And the question becomes, where's the fucking bottleneck? That's all business is. You're just looking and trying to figure out the bottleneck. And so even like at the sales call has like 5 stages or whatever, right? So it's like the bottleneck here is the bottleneck here is the bottleneck here. It's just one fucking big fat line. And your job is to understand this and understand all the micro stages within the big stages.
Yeah, that's like super dumbed down, right?
Yeah. Just be one line, one big fat line. That's it. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
Thoughts are, yeah, just feel better about it a little bit, but now I'm starting to get a more of a meta, bigger picture of like not just business, but this. Like lately, everything's just starting to make more sense. And it's only because, I've gotten way more experience, right? But I think we had that conversation too before about like just getting the reps in and like me even like a month ago at the beginning of the year, it's like I've learned so much more already, right? So it's good to know.
Good. Yeah, you're on the right track, bro. Just keep putting the reps. Let's just keep happening. Every time you have another deal or another interaction, you come here and me and Mason, our job is to help you like shed the light and help you learn from it. You know what I mean? So keep it up. Keep me posted this week, okay?
Definitely, bro. Definitely. Thank you.
Camilo, you're asking like why the heck anybody would be willing to give this information away. It's that's what we do. Remember we talked about that on your initial call where I said to you, hey, you're gonna select the niche and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pair you with an expert. That's what Jorge's talking about. And so, it's not easy to find somebody to help you because you are kind of sort of being a competitor, but like every once in a while, like so for example, if somebody came to me and they said they want to do jujitsu, I'm going to connect them with Jorge and Jorge's going to pay it forward because we're all part of a community. And then there's ways to make it work, like commission deals and all that stuff. You can make something like that work. Within our community, like everybody's pretty chill. So if you said, Jorge, I'm sorry, if you said jujitsu, I hand you to Jorge. If you said medical spa, I hand you to like Aman, for example, and everybody's pretty chill in our community. And our community also just like, I'm always reinforcing like, hey, the ocean is fucking massive and there's a lot of opportunity. There's tons of opportunity here. There's more than enough for all of us to eat. And so Jorge, he didn't find the person he found was from another program, and that person was just like super chill enough to help out Jorge. And so oftentimes what we're doing, we're just trying to find somebody that's done it, and then we're just trying to pay them for their time. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. Like honestly, the people that are going to help you are people that are good people that understand the game. That's the thing. They understand the game, which means that they understand that the ocean is fucking massive and there's a lot of fish to eat, and that by scratching your back, that one day you'll probably scratch my back. So a person that understands and is wise will like falls in that first part of the category, and the second person is like just a good person, just overall like they're pretty chill. And so Jorge was able to find a really 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 chill person. So I don't know if that maybe answers your question, Camilo. Mr. Riviera, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Koshik?
Chilling, bro.
Just glad I got to be able to get on this call in time. At
Yeah,
least to
man.
hear a little bit of I like the riff between you and Jorge there, talking about that. Because I've had that experience too, talking to someone that already had a previous agency and stuff. So a lot of things resonated with me going through that process, and honestly still going through it now. But
Yeah.
that's it's a guy I talked to you about, that I had kind of spoken to before me and you started talking, Koshik.
Uh-huh.
So that guy had a previous agency that burned him,
Hmm.
and he said he was getting like 1 lead a week, and they didn't even install any way for him to get notified. And but yeah, a lot of things I could have done better for sure. Just hearing you guys talk, that's But you know, right now he paid half, but he's just kind of overdue on the second payment and it's kind of getting cold feet maybe. But funny enough, it's like, you know, he paid half though. But so
Is
weird.
this the one? Is this this is the dentist or the guy that you had mentioned before we started working together? Yeah. Is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah, that the guy, the male doctor, yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Chase.
Okay.
He's chill and stuff, and yeah, I got him to kind of see the light. I did kind of get the anime eyes because I was like, oh, typically one lead. Okay, what kind of ad spend budget are you getting to get one lead a week? He's like 2,000. I'm like, okay, when I say ad spend, that's just like that's basically outside of the service cost. So would you say that's all like that ad spend 2,000? That's the ad spend, or is that also service delivery like all inclusive? He was like, no, that's just ad spend. And I was like, okay, you know, with us, like, you know, I'm running, you know, I have one of my doctors running $600 ad spend. And you know, she's getting, I think, I don't know, like 35 average 40 leads a month. And then his eyes were just like, whoa, you know, and but I think I could have done better at like asking better questions, right?
I think
Like what kind of ads were you running and you know, things like that. So
I think what you did is like that is like a hook. Like what you just explained is like you're doing 2,000. Here's what if I told you we're doing this, and then his eyes light up. But the light up that we're talking about right now is the light up that you're mentioning is I'm interested, I'm curious, but not the aha. You have to have the aha, which is like you said, when you're asking more questions, like, okay, walk me through what kind of ad, show me the ad, show me the targeting, show me all that stuff. Okay.
yeah.
Then you have to educate and say, here's why that's not working. So for example, it's because you're doing a traffic campaign, and what you must be doing is a lead form campaign, and here's why. Then it's like an aha thing of like, oh fuck, okay, I understand now.
Yeah. For sure. And I think I tried to get a little bit of that from him. Like I was asking like, oh, can you show me like what's kind of system do you use? Like, can I see your Facebook backend? And he just didn't even know how to pull up Facebook ad manager. And I was at his office shooting, you know, when he did the first half deposit, that was enough to get me out to shoot, right? And I actually knocked out some of like he didn't even have a business manager created or like a business account at all. So I don't even know how he was running ads, to be honest. He just had like that Meta Business Suite, which is like kind of like a Facebook Manager Lite, you know, Facebook Ad Manager Lite. You know, it's not like the real back end, right? So I showed him how to make a Facebook ad manager, and he was just like, "Man, they never even showed me any of this." So I got the like wow from him, and you know, I've gotten half payment, and I've also produced videos that he was stunned by just like looking at the camera. But he's also the I think I've told you before when I did tell you a little bit about him, but he's super bad at communication. So I have to go through emails, texting. I was doing voice messages, and I know he read them because on iPhone the voice message disappears if they look. So he definitely
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, man.
you know, a day passes, 2 days. So I text him or I call him again, and yeah, he said he's all good with it. And what I produce videos, but tell me if this is a red flag, which I believe it is. But he said he's like, yeah, my front desk, they don't really believe in marketers.
Hmm. When you say a red flag, like what do you mean by a red flag? Kyle, Daniel, can you guys hear me? Jorge, can you guys hear me? Testing, testing, testing.
Can you hear me? Sorry about that.
I can hear you now. I think, yeah, I was wondering if it was on my end.
Uh, no, you're good, Koshi.
Okay.
I was going through like this hills part, like mountains. Uh, I'm out of there now. What was I gonna say? where did I cut off, I guess?
Well, actually, let me ask you this. How about this? Better question is maybe like, I guess what's the main question or thing that you wanted to
Oh,
get?
main question. Well, like, it's like, how do I deal with someone just like overdue payment? We're halfway. Because honestly, I've never really had this happen where someone pays half and doesn't follow through. Usually, when they pay half, there's a lot of incentive to get the project done because they got sunken costs. So I'm curious, like, I'm just looking back at the history, kind of rambling, but just at like, if there's like any should I even have taken this client because he kind of was terrible at communication, had a previous agency, told me that red flag thing about his assistant being, doesn't believes all marketers are scam artists, and these are the people that are going to call the leads, but they also don't believe in marketers, and they believe they're all scammy, and they hate scripts, and they tell me that all the time.
Yeah.
And like he said that, and I was like, I'm like, man, aren't you the boss? I'm like, they got to be down with your vision, right? Or I don't know. A lot of these practice owners, they're really good at and have an expertise in healthcare knowledge and stuff, but as a business owner, they kind of don't really act in the same way business owners typically do, at least from I've seen across different niches. So they kind of act a little bit like, I don't know, it's just different. But sorry for being rambly. I guess the question is just like, you know, is this something to expect from those type of clients, right? Or those type of leads that have agencies or had agencies?
Um, it's I don't have enough information where I can like based off of my experience, there's not something that's like jumping out at me where I'm like, yeah, man, you're in trouble, right? Like there's some things that I've got enough experience, like for example, somebody that's got another market, just like I gave Jorge that example of. With this one, I can't definitively tell you like, oh, this is bad news, this is red flag. Um, I'm curious about like what your onboarding and all that look like. That's what I'm more curious about. That's what's I think
Mhm.
it's like how did you
Well,
expectations and all that stuff. Like that's what's most important.
yeah, I mean, I kind of gave him a rough sketch. So my onboarding was more verbal, like talking on a Zoom, but it was just more of a Word document format, but it hit like kind of the certain like things I wanted to hit, right? But I definitely could have made it look prettier, I would say, more aesthetic. I wish I could pull it up right now, but um yeah, I mean, it was just like a rough sketch of what I thought would be a good onboarding, and he's kind of this guy where it's so hard to get a hold of, and then when he's finally able to do anything I'm trying to ask of him, right? Like link this together, or the Facebook, and or right, or let's get on an onboarding, or let's do a production. Like he's so hard to get a hold of, and then when he's finally ready, he's like, I'm free tomorrow, or I'm free, like very soon in this slot, and I don't know when I'll be free again. So I end up always going meeting him more than halfway and kind of trying to accommodate him, and then I end up feeling like I had to rush some of the things I need to create, right? So,
I
which
feel
I
like
should have made anyways, but
I'll be honest with you, man. Like I've noticed kind of a pattern when it comes to dentists with you specifically. Like typically when it comes to like jujitsu or chiro or like, I mean, maybe not chiro, but like I would say like personal trainers, like it's easy to get a hold of those guys. Gym owners, okay, pretty easy to get a hold of those guys. Um, there are just certain niches that like it seems like it's really hard to get a hold of the business owner. And it's oftentimes where like they've got a big establishment with like front desk people. And it seems to be like dentists over and over again.
yeah, they got front desks. I mean, not all of them. I've seen their front desks be slim sometimes, and they actually make the front desk do dental assistant work, but those are typically smaller practices. But yeah, no, yeah, I for sure see that. And that's why I kind of told you on my last text, I was like trying to get friendly with the front desk to like learn their names. So that way, when I text these dentists, like I have something personal to kind of
I think
piggyback on.
I think what you really need to do, man, is like this isn't me just pushing you off. Like I really just I don't think that I'm the best person to ask this stuff to. I really think
Hmm.
there's like I firmly believe there's some kind of an etiquette for dentists. And I feel like the best person you're gonna be able to speak to is somebody that like all they do is dentists. I really
Hmm.
think that that's the best move, honestly.
Hmm. I feel like it's just a little bit of key info to fill the gaps, right? Just like what's found the most success in it, right? So just like because I feel like I've gotten a lot of the puzzle piece together. It's just like small little gaps. And but you know, a lot in part of actually you even filling those gaps, because I feel like now it's just like those little small little details, the devil details, you know?
Perhaps. I mean, I will, based off of my experience, I feel like there's, whenever somebody niches down, man, like Aman, for example, like you'll get one client, speak to expert. Get 5 clients, speak to an expert. Another 5, speak to an expert. It's like over and over again. What we do is we find ourselves speaking to other agency owners. So like, I feel pretty strong that like, I think there's a lot to uncover actually. I think there's actually a tremendous
Oh,
amount
really?
tremendous, like based off of
For
just,
sure.
I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
worth to find somebody. I just don't think it's worth like all the time and energy. Like this has been brewing in my mind for like the past like month or so. I just haven't brought it up, and it just feels like the right.
Yeah, yeah. No worries, no worries.
It feels
I
like
mean, yeah.
I was like,
Oh, sorry, what was that?
I think that it is worth having a conversation with somebody. So that's something, if you're gonna make a mental note or write this down, is like I think that's something you need to be working on. Is like how do you actually like interact with these kinds of people? Because it sounded like a nightmare with the lady that you had, and then now I'm hearing this again, and it just I wouldn't be surprised if I hear this again and again and again. It's like that's something you need to handle. You need to get that addressed,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
somebody to speak to for sure about this kind of stuff that's handled it already.
For sure. And I mean, one part of it's like a good thing because they're not overbearing, kind of like micromanaging because they're so aloof, right? But I mean, I'm giving them results, so it's like there's not much to say back, but it's like you obviously want to. And I've gotten Dr. Lisa kind of a little bit better. She's been jumping on update calls more frequently now. So but it's still dicey, right? She's hard to get a hold of for the testimonial, but it's really just like a matter of probably hitting her up again. But like even when I was in her office, she got all like, I don't know, nervous because she's like, "Oh, I really got to get to this email. I've been blowing it off for so long." And it's like, I guess whoever does her social media like just posts, you know,
Mhm.
her organic stuff. So I kind of saw like how she probably got an email, like the 6th email from him. So she was probably like, "Oh shit!" Like, now it's like they don't literally take it serious till like the person's mad at them. It's ridiculous, but I kind of saw it in person live of how she's doing it to another person, right? And that's probably how she does it to me. Is just like, "Oh shit, Daniel, fuck."
Yeah.
Uh, let me finally get to him. He's been texting me so much. Like they feel genuinely bad. Like at least I saw on her. But yeah, it's like they're wearing a lot of hats. So, and maybe it's like, maybe it's like a different type of enterprise. Maybe I have to hit them at a bigger level when they have things. I've seen dentists where they literally have sales account manager and all this stuff.
I can hear you, Daniel.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, like they have a sales account guy that came in. I even had an experience at the dentist recently of like the assistant starts with me, polishes my teeth, then the dentist comes in, finishes off the cleaning, and then kind of gives you his recommendation. And then after that, I chose my recommendation, and then it comes to an account like a sales kind of manager that just handles processing a payment. And he kind of looks really professional and really soft spoken. And then like they have like all these handlers, and like the dentists I've been working with, they're like solo. Like they barely even have an assistant at sometimes. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that's an issue with like the type of dentist I'm getting as well. Cause when I've been to the dentist, I experienced a lot of automation. I can kind of see it in their like practice of how they kind of work their clinic. So I do notice a small discrepancy there between the two, but I don't know if that could be it.
Yeah. I, 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 I'm gonna sound like a broken record, man, but it's like I really think that these are the kinds of questions that, you need to speak with somebody who's in the industry, working with multiple
Yeah,
dentists.
yeah, for sure.
I feel, and
I'm
I
just
feel,
gonna have to deep dive into who that is.
yeah. And I feel very strong about that. Just with, again, my experience with dentists, I've had both. I've had your experience with like multiple parties. Dentist comes in, has a conversation with me, have another person. I've also had the conversation where it's like literally just one dentist and then one assistant. And so yeah, I think you got to have a conversation with somebody who can kind of like guide you and kind of help you navigate this whole part of the business. Um, so when it comes to your initial question of like, collecting the 750, like even that, it's like it's just hard to kind of advise you on that one. I'm kind of at a
Mhm.
loss in terms of what I can tell you other than, I mean, if it's like, you like if he's just hard to get a hold of, like there's not really much you can say. You can't like hold
There's
the
not a secret pair of words.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a secret phrase that just gets this done. It's like it's almost like their ethic and balls in their court.
So it's like you got to just do everything up front with these kinds of guys, or at least that's my theory based off of what I'm hearing so far.
Yeah, I regret the half deposit, honestly. I was just like, dude, I should have just gave him because he kind of got like I price anchored at 14.97, and then I told him like, you know, I'll do a no commitment 30-day for 1,000 and you get the works, but that's just entry level and then it locks into that price. Basically we basically take back the funnel at and but if you want to go through with it, you get it, basically this lock in for like my original price. But so that kind of got him pumped to start the 30-day. But I was like, I should have just got the full payment at least.
And
More skin in the
this,
game.
even this, like Daniel, like this is there's so much like to learn here. Like for example, I had a conversation with Aman about this, where like you collect card details, you get them to sign an authorization form. This way, after the 30 days, you can go in there and charge and not need to worry. Like that's such a small little golden nugget, but it will save you months and years of time. Like literally months. It took me a long time to figure that out. I was looking at some of these other agencies I've worked with, and I was like, why do they do this? Okay, this is why. Now it's making sense. So again, somebody else that works with dentists will be able to kind of like confirm if that's what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do, where they get the dentist to sign an authorization form and all that stuff so that they can handle that because the dentist is so busy. And then, maybe
Hmm.
the front desk and speaking with the front desk as opposed to the dentist, for example. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't know, but
Yeah, I've seen that happen with someone. They had their front desk like handle signing. I don't know. I don't know how that works legality wise, but I've seen like yeah, the front desk handles like the operational part of like the integration between the agency and then the
right.
practice. So could have been a chiropractor practice, but still very similar. And so yeah, it's like it's like it's trying to be accommodating for them, but I don't want to be like just this like trying to pester them to do something. Like I need to make it seamless, and I think there's like probably yeah, like you said, some form of etiquette to doing it correctly in a way that benefits both parties.
And honestly, like I mean, the thing is like both of your deals, by the way, that you're talking about are organic. It's a very different ball game than paid ads. So once we've done paid ads, like maybe what we'll kind of find is like everything is a smooth process, it's super simple, all that stuff. We'll see, but we have to close somebody from paid ads first to even see.
Yeah, yeah, to see it through, yeah, for sure.
Um, what else you got for me in terms of questions today, man?
No, that was it. Just riff a little bit, but yeah, you got my head in the right place. I think taking real time and energy to finding someone that kind of is in the trench there, might be beneficial. Just for those, like you said, maybe it's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's all this underneath stuff that to uncover. So,
Probably should.
yeah, there for sure is. Just based off kind of what I'm seeing so far, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I could be pounding the phones better. I do, call more than I do text, I will say. And but I definitely need to be. I mean, I just got hit and slammed like the last couple days, which I'm kind of blessed and grateful because I got hit with the taxes, and then something happened in my girlfriend's car, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and then I was just like, shit. But so I'm grateful for that, but I also feel like it makes me feel like, damn, like what if I get this busy and the leads start pumping? Like I can't slack. Like I can't let that happen. So
How
um
how are the leads going, by the way? How are things going? Are they good? Or
kind of none today. I had that one yesterday. I believe it was one yesterday, and then Roberto, or maybe it was 2 days ago, but called him. I texted them, but Go High Level told me it was a landline, so I just been calling them. Didn't call him this morning. I called him 2 days yesterday. Didn't call him this morning. Called him today at just before this call, or before I jumped on here after I got out, and then yeah, I just never went to voicemail, which is really weird. But a lot of these guys, like I think I could be asking one more question, like their IG, because if you've seen, I don't know if it. So maybe this question, Koshi, before I jump off, but there's a certain talk track I've used on organic, and it gets a lot of seen. People see it, people don't reply, but eventually, like I've gotten a lot of replies. You think it'd be beneficial if I like ask for their IG on the forum and being able to kind of take the conversation DM through there? Because I find when they're able to look at my profile, I can even like send stuff, stuff I posted with dentists, and I sometimes send to like follow up. Um, so I'm curious if like you think these strategies could cross over.
Potentially. I was just looking, I just pulled up your Excel sheet, because I wanted to kind of get the numbers. Is this the one for the ads that you're running right now? I'm guessing niche funnel KPIs is that. I'm trying to figure out which one's
Oh
which.
yeah, yeah. Niche funnel KPIs, like that original landing page niche that we ran. I don't think we run that anymore because yeah, it was just like to the land. It wasn't going to a Facebook lead form. It was just a land page. So I don't think that's. I think the IG placements we also stopped on the last call. Like we just said, stop that. We're basically just on doing Facebook lead form.
So how much
That one.
you spent? Is this up? It sounds like this might not be up to date. It
It
sounds like
might not be up to date by maybe a day or two slow, but
this is
I'll have to
telling me
double check.
$71 spent, and we've got 9 link clicks. It doesn't have the number of leads on here.
Yeah, I need to add like a section because I don't know. I definitely need lead section, but
Okay. Yeah, let's add a leads in here because I need to, like, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if this is
mhm,
helpful.
mhm.
I
For
mean,
sure, I'll update that once
how
I
many
get home.
how many leads have you gotten? And then of those leads, how many are like actual dentists? I guess that would be a good starting place.
Yeah, for sure. I answered a little bit of that in the text, not maybe a depth that I could have gone. But yeah, like it's just hard to like I research their phone number, their name, their email, and then sometimes it's just really hard to find like any information on them. Like but one guy, like as soon as I put his email, I found his website. He's in Illinois, he's a doctor. He graduated from California, moved there. Like I could find his Facebook, LinkedIn, but the other guy is like, if I don't find that little piece of thing to get me down the rabbit hole, it's really hard to even get a place to start to find him.
So we have 5 leads then. So we spent about 120 from your last message. You messaged me on Sunday.
Mhm.
So you've gotten 4 leads or 5 leads?
I think it's let me see. 4 leads and unconfirmed. Oh yeah, 4 leads for that one. Yeah. I'm just saying one of them was confirmed within
Okay.
those 4.
So, okay. So 122 divided by 4 then would be $30 per lead. So here's what we can do, Daniel. Here's what I would suggest doing then. If like this is a huge issue, what we can do is we can do a week. How about that? What we can do is we can split test. Yeah, I think that's what I would do if I were you, is I would split
Mhm.
test. I would create another ad set. And then on that ad set, I would include the Instagram handle. And then what we can do is we can see if our cost per lead is still around $30. If the cost per lead goes from like $30 to like $60, well then yeah, maybe it's not worth it.
Okay. Yeah, just to see at least
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
here's what I would do. I would duplicate the ad set, and I would do like, the same amount of budget, and I would put the Instagram on the new ad set, and I would let that rip. And then if for some reason it fails or doesn't do well, well then what we can do is we can just try that one more time. We'll give it a second shot. And then if it fails at the second shot as well, well then yeah, we can just say like, hey, like let's just keep it to the original formula.
Cool.
And then what I would also do is you want to come in here and you want to say like lead form like 1, lead form 2. This way we can compare the both.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we can see, that I think that would be, yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then from there, we can take things from there, I think.
Cool. Sweet. No, that's good. Yeah, I
your
feel
cost-
like it's just this the process, right?
your costs are good. I mean, you're $6.70 for a click, $30 for a lead. Like your numbers are good. It's just, the fact that you got only one, like, and I don't know if that's normal. Like that this could very well be normal where like 1 out of 4 are the ones that you can get a hold of, actually. It might be normal. What happened
Mhm.
with the one that you were able to confirm? Were you able to get a hold of that person or no?
No, I've texted, just, I it was obviously my first one that was real, but I called him. The only person I got to talk to was his front desk, and she said she was with the patient, so I said, okay, I did the kind of talk track that you talked about, just like, hey, is Dr. Choi there? I forgot what I said, but it just like made it seem like I knew him. And then it's like, oh, he's with the patient right now. Okay, just let him know Daniel called. Uh, yeah, I just said, oh, cool, just let him know Daniel called. Um, dang, I'm trying to think of the specific thing I said, but just yeah, he was expecting a call from me, so just you know, geez, I sound like I was a nervous wreck on the phone, but it was a long day. I've been just coming from a pretty hard shoot, but yeah, I just try to make it sound natural, like I knew the guy, and like he's just this is the best number he told me to get him back at. So if you could just let him know, Dan Rivera from Take 10 call and say, oh, Take 10, okay, I'll make sure. But yeah, just it's always usually front desk. So, but I definitely know it's a real office now because I asked for Dr. Choi and she's like, oh yeah, he's with the dentist or he's with the patient. So that kind of confirmed the realness of him.
So you said this is Daniel Rivera with Take 10 Media. And then he never called back, I would assume.
No, yeah, I didn't get anything back.
Shit,
And,
man.
sometimes it says scam likely, and I'm like, maybe it could be a lead, but I don't know if I should be answering those the telemarketers, but yeah, I mean, you know,
I
and I
wonder,
was having issues with Go High Level, so it's like I wouldn't even get notified. So some hours would pass. So I'm like, shit, did I just ruin my possibility because I didn't do speed of freaking lead? Like, because I
that's what
just
that
barely finding this out right now.
one of the issues is the speed to lead thing. Like again, I mean, I don't know that it is. It's if you're
Hmm.
following up with every single person, if you're following up with every single person, they're just not getting back to you and you're just drilling them daily, then I would say you're doing your job, right? Like if somebody, that's what you should, here's what you should be doing: speed to lead and then drill daily. And I'm talking about like morning, afternoon, evening. Like those are the things you can control that are within your power. And if you're doing those things and it's still not working, one, maybe we don't have enough of a data set, but like that's what you can do. Um, so bare minimum, you should be doing that. Speed to lead and
Yeah.
then drilling people morning, afternoon, multiple days. If you at least do that, and if we're not getting traction, well then, there's an issue here. Um, one thing, so here's another thing you can try. I don't know how I don't know if I feel good about this one. I don't actually feel good about this one, but it could be worth testing,
Yeah.
is doing like a messenger ad or an IGDM ad. Why? The reason I'm saying that is this way you can at least get a hold of them through social media and then you can follow up with them. It might be worth us testing that as well.
Well, cool. Maybe just stick with the original game plan and like go down like kind of the list and see if that could roll the dice on that one. But it's like a direct DM, like one of those ones that like if they click on it, it goes into my inbox. Is that the ones?
Yeah, so again, the reason I don't feel good about this is because when we were doing our funnel hacking, I didn't see a single person doing an IG DM ad or a Facebook PM ad. And those are the ones that go right to the DMs and PMs. So what I suggest doing is so bare minimum is again the in order of operations. Like the most important thing is like do the double, triple dialing, speed to lead, like daily. Like you got it. Like this is bare minimum. This is the highest leverage thing you should be doing. Then after that, what we can do is we can duplicate and try to get their IG. So that's the second thing that we can do. And then the third thing that we can do is we could have one Facebook PM and then one IG DM. So we can try this as well. So this week,
Cool.
what you can do is you can launch 3 ad sets. And I don't know that this is going to make a huge difference. You getting their Instagram, it could, and it could be the game changer. And if so, like, boom, that's it. Like right now, the issue is that you're getting cheap or relatively cheap leads, but they're not picking up. You have no way to speak with them. So maybe this solves the problem, this right here, right? Because we're getting
Sure.
their lead and then we're getting Instagram. And so you're just going to go absolutely bazonkers until they show up. And this could be a solution. If this is a solution, then we don't really need to entertain these, which is basically what I'm just saying for these one is just like test out Facebook PM and Instagram DM. And the reason for that is because you're telling me up here you can't seem to get a hold of them. So if they DM you or PM you, well, they can't run away from you. You
Yeah.
have them. And so now you just have to fucking be ruthless in your pursuit of following up with them. And I've got a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I figured out this is what I did for wedding filmmakers. I was doing Facebook PM and I have a script where I basically get them to give me their phone number, and then from there it's game over. So these are your homework is this, like for this upcoming week. Make sure you're doing this. Only you know if you're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only you know.
Yeah.
Go ham on this. 2, launch these ad sets, and each of them should have a separate Excel sheet so that we can just kind of keep track.
Sure. Yeah. I'll basically each ad set has its own Excel sheet, basically.
Yeah. So we can study each of these separate.
Yeah, each separate. Okay, yeah, that's solid.
And then we can come back next week and kind of view it from there.
For sure. I'm always always pretty optimistic, even though like I always feel like something's going wrong, but I always feel like I'm learning something every week. So I always see it as a net positive if my brain gets bigger. So
Yeah. It's not, this is just the overall process. Just so you know, like this is
yeah, this is the part of the game.
just chipping away one by one.
Yeah, but I was actually still stuck on that. I got a real dentist to go through that because of the amount of the amount of DMs I have to send to get one to even open my text. So it was cool somebody resonated with it, but yeah, I mean, I think that's solid with the ad tests. But you don't see creative anything we need to change with that, like go AI, lean into that, nothing. You feel good about that?
I feel
Okay,
good.
cool.
We're doing yeah.
Just based off the numbers, huh?
Based off the numbers, it's something we can explore, but like right now is like the issue is, are we getting a click? Yes. So the ad is doing its job. Are we getting information? Yeah. Are you able to have a conversation with you or not? So the bottleneck is here. The bottleneck is not.
Yeah. That's
You need to solve
where
this.
it's pinched. Where it's pinched. For sure.
I think even if you were even if you were to change like the greatest offer, right? What's happening? They're automatically populating their name, email, phone number anyways. It's not going to change whether you have like a different offer, like, hey, we're going to do everything for free, never have to pay us anything ever, like that kind of offer.
Yeah.
Still going to click the form. They're still going to put their name, email, phone number. And if you still can't get a hold of them, you still can't get a hold of them.
Mm-hmm. For
Right.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a field in the form where you say, instead of your phone number, you say your best number or your private number. I don't know if there's no way.
I'll note that. That's yeah, I'll see, because I know there's less customability with Facebook forms versus like Go High Level, but I'd be interested to look into that.
Look into that, and that might make a difference because, like you said, you're calling the landline.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that was an office number. It didn't go to anything, but yeah.
The other 3 numbers, are they like just ringing nonstop, or what's happened with the other 3 leads?
Yeah, they just keep ringing, go to voicemail. One was like, this voicemail box is full. And then one went, it was like weird. It went through, and then I double dialed, and then it hung up quicker on the second call. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I should have triple dialed just to make sure that wasn't a fluke. But weird stuff like that. So it's like, and then obviously I still call the others. The other ones just don't go through. Yeah, just don't go through. I double dial. I leave a voicemail. Just say, hey, Doctor, this is Daniel Take 10 Video. We saw you clicked on our ad and filled out a form. I had a chance to look over it, and yeah, I believe there's something here that's possibly a good fit and an opportunity for you. So, yeah, if and then I kind of just go into like leaving my name and number and again. So, so I could probably be better on it, like in terms of like because I have like 3 voicemail scripts, so that it's like now the second, like if I double dial the next time and then it goes to voicemail again on, like, let's say it's an afternoon and I called it early in the morning and left this voicemail script. Now the second one changes to where it's like, hey, I just wanted to reach out, or usually I hit this one later on in the pipeline, but second day or third day, but I'll just say like, hey, Daniel, da da da. I just want to make sure that you don't miss out on your opportunity. We are actually, I don't know if you fully saw the ad, but we really are only taking a couple 9 dentists, and we're down to 3 more slots available. So, and then I'll kind of do kind of that, but obviously sounding more natural. I'm trying to think of the script right now, um, but
So my question is, are you doing, it sounds like, is it a multiple day sequence? Is that what you're doing? Like you try day 1, doesn't work, day 2, day 3. Are you really doing that, or are you not doing that?
yeah, I'd say 50% just because I got slacked with work, but I was doing like originally a morning and then a evening. So like morning 10 a.m., evening 6, 7 p.m. I'm also trying to think of their time zone, so I'm trying to time it to where they just got off.
Are you just doing one day, or are you doing multiple days of that?
About like 3 days of it, and then texting is kind of, since I'm doing it custom, I'm not been keeping up on that. That's why I kind of like automations, but you're kind of right, they don't, kind of bland. So but yeah, I'd say I'm better on the calls than I am on the text, but yeah, I'm gonna get my ass strapped down because I want to be as good, like have them both pumping at all cylinders, so that way I can't say it was on me. It was just I can look at other data on why things maybe aren't working. I don't want to be the bottleneck, so for sure
The
I'll
reason I'm asking is
yeah,
on average, like some agencies I know, they're doing 12 attempts.
oh, that's 12 touch points.
12 attempts.
Okay,
Not
damn,
12.
yeah, I need to.
So
Oh,
that's
12.
like, so that's like morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening. That's
Oh, in a day.
morning, afternoon, evening. So morning, afternoon, evening, that's 3 touch points here. Morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, 3,
Oh
6,
yeah.
9, 12. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Monday, they're gonna double down morning, afternoon, evening. Tuesday, morning, afternoon, evening, double downs. Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So every single day, they're doing a double down in the morning, double down in the afternoon, double down in the evening. So that's what I mean. Like that's the level of volume that they're doing.
And what would you say? That's pretty good volume for calls, but what would you say on texting? One a day, or do you just like?
Um, I don't know what they were doing in terms of texting. Yeah, I mean, maybe 2 a day.
Right? I mean, it's like they did, like they clicked on the offer. It's like you said, so it's like you're just trying to get a hold of that person, and
Yeah. I would say,
but
so moving forward, it's just like that, just kind of use that as a perspective, like 12 and then maybe 2 texts a day. And so if you do that, like you said, you can tell yourself the story of like, hey, it's out of my hands at this point. Like do the
sure,
12 and then it's out of your hands. You're like, it is what it is.
sure,
So we'll see what happens this week with see if we can get somebody's Instagram and then also the Facebook and Instagram DM ads. Aside from that, man, it's just chipping away at this thing, man. I know it's
yeah. Like
what
I'm
else?
uncovering a mystery, but yeah, that's it for me. Thanks. I'm glad I got to jump on this last minute. I wasn't really even prepared, but good just to riff and get it out and kind of just kind of see where I'm at too.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad that you're able to join us too. And we were able to move things forward, or otherwise, we'd be stagnant for a week. So we have 7 days worth of stuff we can work on. So this is good.
For sure. Yeah, I'm about to head in right now and just cook myself up something because I haven't eaten like 7 hours, so I might have to be off. But thank you so much, Koshik, and I'll stay connected with you.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jorge, Kyle, Camilo, anybody have any questions? Going once. Cool, Jorge. Going twice. Going thrice. I'm not sure if you answered. Camilo, I did answer. I don't know if you heard me in terms of like what is going on with Jorge. and why I got a call and couldn't. Oh, okay. So basically, what I said is that the there's the truth is that there is some kind of competition for sure, like between like if two people are going after wedding filmmakers or two people are going after chiropractors for sure, but there's a certain there, but like I would tell you that it just depends on who this is and what kind of community they're coming from. So people that are extremely knowledgeable understand that the ocean is vast, it is massive, it is huge, and they also understand that if you scratch my back, I'm going to scratch your back, right? So there are a certain group of people that have like a really scarcity mindset, like they're not going to help you. But people that have that kind of a mindset, they're going to help you, especially if you're part of like the same community. So for example, when it comes to medical spas, if you had a question about medical spa, I would connect you with Amma, and I know Amma would be cool with it. If you had a question about jujitsu, I know Jorge would be cool with that. It really just depends on the community that you're in. And so we're able to like do that with the people that are within our community. And it's just like the opportunity is just massive. Like there's just so much opportunity. I can tell you confidently, like how many people sell courses and coaching programs to filmmakers, like there's a lot of us. And I will tell you, like a lot of the people in the space, like yeah, so the person that helped Jorge is just a really good dude, man. He's not part of our community, he's part of a different community. And so he kind of falls in that category of understanding that the ocean is vast and that if Jorge helps him out, maybe he'll help. I'm sorry, if he helps Jorge out, maybe one day Jorge will help him out because he saw also what Jorge is doing. He's from another program and like he has like absolutely no experience when it comes to content creation or like a camera. So he might be able to utilize Jorge's help. And Jorge kind of demonstrated that when he first met him. He like commented on he really said to Jorge, like, dude, I love your content, I love what you're doing here. It's so cool. And so he sees the value in having a relationship with Jorge. So I think part of that as well is like that's what and so I'm glad I just brought that up is like that's something I would lean into. If I'm you, I would lean into that. So if you have a conversation with an agency owner in a particular niche, you can kind of lean into it and say, hey, look, I create the content. I have these I work with agencies and if you ever need content XYZ, like you can kind of position it that way so that they're willing to help you. I don't know if that makes any sense, Camilo. So it is ultimately like it's kind of sort of a zero-sum game where like you should basically capture everybody, but the ocean is massive, man. The ocean is truly massive. There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. Anything else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns, anything else you got, Camilo? Cool. All right, guys. If that's everything, then we'll see you guys here next week. Cheers, guys.